Ladies and gents, welcome to the third quarterfinal in TTL. And we've got two massive names here. We have Tato in third place, who was in third place in his group, but that was the group that also had the Viper and Leary. Tato had 11 wins in that group, went to the round of 12, had that ridiculous series. Thus far, probably the best series of TTL. Maybe one of the best TTL sets ever when he won 3-2 against Dow. ACCM did not have to play in the round of 12 because he was first place in his group, and that was in Group B. And ACCM has looked really strong. He also had 11 wins, and I'm excited to see him face off against Tato today. Tato has gone for the Byzantines on the first map, which is Spiral. And the first thing he did is he went forward and he found the berries. And there's a little fence there that he knocked down. Looks like ACCM did the same. And yeah, there's just a cow and a sheep in there. And that can be rather important to take. Byzantines have looked great on this map. But also, so have the Malians. There's so many bonuses that flow nicely for both these civs here. I think both civs actually have usually tried to play it similarly, where they focus on the water aspect and then defense. But the Malians save a lot more with their wood buildings. So, like, if you think about how you build up throughout a game, especially on a map with water, you're going to want that wood savings on your buildings, and that's what the Malians have. So the dock's cheaper, houses cheaper, lumber camps, barracks, archer range stable. It's just so much easier for the Malians to be flexible when playing into multiple things. And so with that in mind, I think the approach for Tato, because he will have to work on one or two buildings fewer, let's say, right? Like, that's just typically how things play out. I think the standard Byzantine approach of going into simply spearmen instead of also adding like an archer range or a stable is probably quite fine. And maybe we'll see him try and get a forward dock down on the fish of ACCM. ACCM is going to need to find his shorefish here to place the dock. He's going to go out with 2 villagers to place the dock. Not a bad spot. 2 shorefish on either side of the dock. That alone is a really good source of food income. And Tato, of course, has done the same here. Yeah, it's not a long journey to get over to the other player's water, and we could see both players walk forward and drop a dock there. So the thing to look for will players be scouting with their fishing ships to see that? Because it's one thing to be surprised by, it's a whole another thing to be, like to know what's coming and be able to adapt. So, super tiny detail, which I should point out, because I know you guys are all detail-oriented viewers. We had some comments, like, early on with Spiral. Now, we had used Spiral from another tournament, and so I was pretty happy as is with how it generated. And I've obviously loved it all season. There were a couple comments from people saying that the starting gold would sometimes be like 2 tiles away for one player and 4 tiles for the other, which is a significant enough difference when you're going for pretty tight build orders to get things right. And it took us some time. I say us as if I did it, but no, T West has been working on it. But we did push a fix, which you think it'd be easy, but no, it wasn't. And we should have it down to a point now where it's 4 tiles away from the TC for both players. So if you've been watching a lot of Spiral, there were instances where it was 2 tiles, like maybe even just last week or the week before. But we pushed that recently. We informed the players, and that will mean that I think like a civ like Malians or Japanese will be a bit better here again because of the cheaper buildings, right? Like, this feels like if you're going to take gold, you need to mining camp it. Same with this. And the walking back and forth strategy is just not going to be something you can do as easily. I felt the need to point that out because it's a small thing, but, small things in early game can lead to being very big deal. So yeah, now you know. 3 fishing ships for Tato, 3 fishing ships for ACCM. And no real difference in how they're playing this thus far. It's pretty much the same exact build. Both players going to 2 lumber camps, but you would expect a very similar level between these two today. I think what's interesting about the draft is how Tato's gone for the more like strategic transition into different military units type of maps. And ACCM's home map picks are like as straightforward as they come. So I think ACCM has a lot of confidence in playing somewhat standard here. All right, so barracks is going up for both players. Tato's barracks might be a little bit late. No, it actually should still be perfect timing. Tato building up towards the berries. And ACCM has the option as well, of course. But he's built his barracks here. So this seems like a long-term wall build for ACCM. Like, he just wants to wall and not take the risk to take the berries. Tato's on the hunt. ACCM sees it. He's come to play here with the scouting. And Tato is adding the stable. So neither player has gone for the dock. A little bit surprising to me. But yes, the one core difference right now is that ACCM does not want to take any risks here in the first game. Who is the favorite in this set? Really tricky to say who the favorite is. I think Tato's the favorite. Moonwalking Spearman. I think Tato's the favorite, but I think it's like maybe a 3-2 favorite. Like, ACCM is just a god on his day. The thing I'll say about ACCM this season when compared to the previous one is that he didn't get as many wins in his group. He had 13 wins in the group stage last season. And I felt like Group B was kind of one of the weaker groups. And that's where ACCM was in. So, I mean, the fact that he got 11 wins and Tato got 11 wins and maybe, in theory, ACCM's group was a little bit weaker might make me lean a little bit more towards Tato. But that's tricky. I also think it's good for Tato that he had to play the round of 12 versus Doubt because he learned a lot in that, I'm sure. But then he also showed a lot of his strategies too, so it depends on how you see it. I think just purely getting games in and like really close games is the most important thing for the biggest names. So if I had to say right now, I would say 3-2 Tato. But Tato did lose the scout at the start, and ACCM has not left his villagers exposed. So Tato's going to be looking to get damage in against ACCM, and ACCM's just walled up already. Not full walled, but he's getting there. And, you know, he's not going to give Tato that opportunity to get damage here. So I think it's a pretty big deal, and ACCM is going for the low-risk start to the series. Probably, like, that's how I would start the series, is I would want the first game to be as smooth as possible. And for any of the funkiness where I'd want to, like, be real aggressive, I might want to save till later. But then again, I would never make it to this stage, so we'll see how it pans out. But how many times do we see it, right? Where one player's left villagers exposed and the other player is walled, and then the player who's not walled gets punished. And Tato loses that villager. And honestly, could lose more villagers here. It's a bit interesting, the micro there from ACCM. The Tato loses a the villager also, sorry, just combining words here because I'm still waking up, but villager also had food in the hands there. So that was like 20 or so food that went down too. Now the farming approach is great, but then there's not a lot of berries in here. So Tato's got the berries and the deer. And res collected, I'm kind of curious on. Res collected a bit higher for Tato. You would maybe expect that. Obviously, he's down a worker, though, in comparison. So at the moment, I think I would prefer to have the position of ACCM. The Tato scouts can't get in. They've heard from their friends to check out this area, but that's a weak scout. That scout won't do too much. Expect more farming from ACCM here. And expect quick walls from Tato. Ooh, man, that was really important. Tato does not have many spears at home. He actually made 8 spearmen this game. Holy. But again, you're Byzantines, so you're not going to really be that upset about making lots of spearmen. And on this map, we've very rarely seen players go into archers after their scouts. It's almost always just staying on staple units and booming. The one exception to that has been cav archers, but neither civilization really has good cav archers. So you could maybe try it as a surprise, but I feel like it would be rather weird play. Tato playing against Viper and Leary in group stage, you can say he has a bit of practice. Yeah, exactly. Played against him in group stage, and they were all really competitive sets. Tato beat Viper 2-1. Viper beat Leary 2-1. Leary beat Tato 2-1. So we almost had a 3-way tie there, which would have been a nightmare. Fishing ships going down there for ACCM, though. There's only 70 food left there, but still nice snipes there from Tato. Tato still has his fishing ships around. And KD, 5-4 for Tato. He uses his market a little bit to click up. His farming eco is still more than fine behind this as well. And yeah, this game is going to go late, guys. And the big thing about this map is expanding to the other golds and stones, but it's in the proper way. So here, stone and gold. Here, stone and gold. I really think going to the middle is something that inexperienced players on the map have done. Like, that's just too risky. It's too exposed. It's also really hard to do other things there because of the way the terrain's set up. So having additional scouts and spearmen on the map going to be really important for those areas. Look at ACCM. He does lose his scout there. But what he was trying to do was take out as many spearmen as possible. A bit of a risky play, I would say, to be running over the over the marshland when you're up against Tato. Tato should bring him right back. Like, Tato's going to send this demo over 100%. He's staying on the shoreline. He's acting as if this is normal. Just staying on the shoreline, chasing down the scouts. This is normal. Good. Tato's demo's in the dock now. And here come the spearmen. ACCM still following. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Boom, baby. Classic Tato right there. ACCM, come on, man. You've got to know better than that, right? That's creative from Tato, though. I mean, it's like easy for us to say because we are in chill mode, right? We're in chill and enjoy mode. But Tato just kind of lured ACCM around there to the shallows. And that's a pretty big deal, like we said, right? Because you need those extra spearmen. Tato's got 11 spearmen on the map. So I think it's just going to be pikemen for Tato. Because the traditional follow-up for ACCM would maybe be just like light cav upgrade and some knights. So yeah, pikemen, and then boom. And there's not many civilizations that can compete with the late game of the Byzantines. So classic Tato moment there. He's got tons of resources. He's actually going to drop his TC here. Not sure what the pathing is here. What the crap? What? What is that? He told them to build the TC and they went into the berries first? That is so weird, dude. I mean, I'd love to say I'm surprised, but it's been rough the last 6 months. I mean, it's funny, though, because we don't have any maps that really have the berry box like this. So maybe that pathing is normal if you build a TC like this, but we rarely see the TC here? I don't know. Anyways, fortunately for Tato, like, he's got the army to protect this, so it's not a big deal. Over here, Tato's spearman getting picked off by ACCM. ACCM TC on his golds. And I don't know, he seems to be sending villagers elsewhere. He's going to go to the trees. That was intentional. And then ACCM also TC at home. So we have both players going for a similar position with the TCs, but Tato is not TC to gold yet. I think the key word there is yet. I could see this being a 4 TC game for Tato. So it's food and wood TCs, basically, for Tato. And what's he spending on light cav and what's he spending on spears? He's spending food and wood. Maybe Tato misclicked. It's also very possible he misclicked. It was just the way that they were holding their hammers and they walked around and walked back. It was a bit weird. Okay, so Byzantines are really tough to fight against. This is why people pick them, right? You play safe, and yeah, you don't have an eco bonus, but it's like as long as the flexibility of your opponent here doesn't kill you, which it hasn't, you're in a great spot. If the Malians go for their knights or their camels or their just cav in general, which is so strong with the Farimba upgrade and the extra attack, it's cheap camels and cheap spearmen for the Byzantines. If we see ranged units for the Malians, Byzantines have cheap skirms. It is really tough matchup. I think this is going to come down to key moments and engagements like this, getting good kills where you can to hold map control. Here, though, ACCM trying to find any damage he can, and ACCM is not going to find much. Again, is it really even doing much for Tato at this point? It's arguable. Tato might not even fish trap there. With ACCM being on stone right now, very curious to see if he will go for another TC as well. This feels like a 4 TC boom type of game. I don't know if Imperial Age timings are going to be all that quick. Both players went for the light cav upgrade, though. And Tato will drop his TC there. Does he not see this? Okay, he does see this. Like, I don't hate going here, obviously, because that's an area ACCM could control, and then you can control it for yourself. But you do leave yourself more exposed as well, so I think... It's not that it's bad, right? But I think what majority of players would do would TC here. There's less risk involved in that, but Tato's in control. Tato with 2 relics here. And Tato's probably like, what risk, you know? What risk? There's no risk. I see everything. He killed the monk here on the relic as well. That's so good from Tato. My goodness. Look at the scout activity. Oh my god. Guys, if you followed TTL and you heard me cast gold into platinum, you will have caught me being frustrated at times with the lack of preparation and the lack of how people see this map. Now, granted, it was like earlier rounds, so one might say that maybe even Tato would have had a slightly off view of the map, but I don't think he would have. I think Tato's come in prepared this season. He's looked sharp the whole way through. He's got such a good strategic mind, and like to see people really expanding now on this map makes me happy. Makes me very, very happy. There was conversion somewhere, but it wasn't here. I heard the conversion noise. I'm not exactly sure where it was. Maybe it was there and I'm blind. Tato's had a lot of spears. Never had the pikeman upgrade. He is clicking that now. And we might get the rare Gebeto sighting as ACCM almost kills the monk there from Tato. And Tato does convert a camel there and then just deletes it so it doesn't get converted back. Okay, crucial timing. Crucial timing because ACCM is pretty heavy on stone at the moment. Right? And he's going to be completely countered with army in a moment as well. So he wants a castle. A defensive castle's okay as long as it gets up and you don't take losses. An even better scenario for him would be a castle around the middle. So I think he's going to have to assess the situation here and make a good decision. And while ACCM's able to maybe get some conversions there, it is still camels and pikes against the light cav and knights. And this is an amazing fight for Tato. And now I'm expecting to see Tato's stone count go up. I would be willing to guess that one of his TCs is set to stone right now, but actually, yeah, he's actually making a mining camp on stone. He's thinking about a castle. So the difference here is Tato, look at his food count. He's gone really heavy on food and wood, and he hasn't spent a lot of gold. He's actually still collected 3 relics, which is so good. And now you take the map control, you keep ACCM from being able to secure other areas. And then you figure out the castle position. This has been a great couple minutes here for Tato. And this is why we've seen Byzantines pick so frequently. Like, it's just like, always feels like it's a boom war. And then you think about imp timings, and Byzantines have cheaper Imperial Age. Like, guys, a lot of people are very against this. So don't freak out. But, like, there are people who want Byzantines nerfed in some way. Byzantines are insane. Byzantines could be great on water maps. They could be great on land maps. They don't have an eco bonus. Typically, you look at the best civs in our game, and you're like, yeah, it's an eco bonus thing. So, I don't feel too strongly one way or another. I personally really like the Byzantines. But there's a reason this civilization has been banned a lot, and players don't want to play against it. And people have figured out Byzantines more and more. Not to mention, like, the buffs the Byzantines have received has really helped. Like, the additional vision they get. Units are just so cheap, and there goes Tato on the way to the Imperial Age. This has been a perfect game to start off the series for Tato. Sheesh, this has been clean. Now, I love the Gebeto here. Against the Camel and against the Pike, the Gebeto is a really nice unit. The problem will be you need a big ball of them, and these things are very fragile. Especially with Tato having a couple leftover monks, these Gebeto could just switch sides. You just don't have the numbers of Gebeto to be able to engage against this right now. Varian, you need to calm down. I'm not saying I want Byzantines nerfed. I'm saying people are talking about it because of how strong they are, okay? People gotta act like I'm not encouraging it. I'm talking, okay? I'm speaking. Demo again for Tato. He's like, give me any opportunity just in case he comes back here. ACCM should know about that this time, right? It happened to him before. You can just tell ACCM is really desperate for damage at the moment, but Tato's just tracking him the whole way through. And I just don't think this army is strong enough for ACCM to really do much. I think he's come to the same conclusion here. I like this, maybe camping that gold, but when Tato has gold elsewhere, what does it really do? Tato switching into crossbowman, which is so nice to see when he sees the Gebeto choice from ACCM. Honestly, guys, as the outpost is perfectly centered in the middle and gives amazing vision, and I love that from Tato, I think if ACCM can just get his Gebeto home, I think this is one of the rare moments where to have a chance... Oh, God, he's getting massacred here. To have a chance, maybe you got to go for like 40 Gabetto with Elite and hope to do something with that. ACCM's distracted right now. He's losing his Gabetto underneath the TC, as here he's getting chased away. But, like, bad time to bring it up because he's lost all his Gabetto numbers. But the only way I can see him having a chance, comp-wise, is if he has a ton of those things. Now, Castle going up for ACCM. He's still a minute away from Imp. He will have just seen that Tato's an Imp, but he didn't see a Tato Castle anywhere. Tato with 52 kills, 29 deaths. His eco's looking the best in my opinion, especially with 4 relics. And he's Byzantines with enough stone to build a castle. I'm very surprised he hasn't dropped one. And he does drop it now. But he won't have this castle up to make trebuchets right away. So ACCM might actually be able to start trebbing first. Again, though, like we said, the Byzantines have more HP on their buildings, too. Like, there's always a bonus at play. So we'll see trebs from Tato and trebs from ACCM, most likely, but no trebs just yet from ACCM as he is to lock this down. Guys, ACCM is going to be a bit constricted. He can't take this here, and this is idle at the moment. So he's got limited gold access then, right? He only has this gold area, and he has no relics. And he can't take the middle gold because of Tato's control there. It feels like if Tato can win this Treb war, which he will, because they're both on Treb at the same time, that the name of the game then for Tato is just hold the position you have. Maybe fortify this position. You could even argue that you could wall that up or build some buildings around it to lame it. But Tato's just got so much army. I don't know what ACCM can do. This is why I said, like, maybe he needed to hope that the Elite Gabetto upgrade could do something. But Tato looking so good here. Expanding himself down here with the town center. He's got 20 Arbalest. And you are damned if you do, damned if you don't here for your ACCM. Any decision you make, and you're going to get screwed. You go for Cav with the extra attack. I mean, you got to try it, right? It's probably your best chance back. Go ahead and do it. And then Tato might click the Halb upgrade. Tato might click Heavy Camel. What's nice, though, is that Tato doesn't think that ACCM's going for Cav right now. So that's kind of nice. Will we see some Tato quick walls here to save the trebuchet, maybe? Didn't notice it to the last second. That's going to be a treb down for Tato. That's a very nice find for ACCM. This is also an amazing find for ACCM. It was 150 villagers, by the way, and Tato has branched out into too many areas to keep track of. A big raid for ACCM there. Not to mention, he has his trebs over on the hill here. ACCM, out of nowhere, he's also killed villagers back here from Tato. Whoa, where did this come from? Now, this still needs to be dealt with. And we still don't even have the Cavalier upgrade for ACCM. It's just going to be Light Cav with the +7 attack. But if those Light Cav can find the areas, if they can use their mobility, because Tato's pikemen and ARPs are kind of slow, could see it working out. It's going to be awkward, but I like this decision from ACCM to just avoid this army so we can go elsewhere with the Light Cav. What a great job from ACCM to somehow find damage here. And if there's a hole in Tato's base, I thought earlier in the game there was a hole between the market and the house. That was in Feudal Age. And I'm going to assume that ACCM got through there before. Tato didn't know how he got through, and Tato sees it now. Nightmarish stuff for Tato in the back of his eco. Nightmarish stuff for him in here as well as he lost his castle. ACCM still has a chance, and the Light Cav are going to kill a bomber cannon. No, they won't. Poof. So now you get stone back. Now you can get some gold back. You can breathe a little bit if you're ACCM. And guys, this is the difference between, this series and maybe some of the other quarterfinals we saw. These are both huge names in our scene. Both players will be considered top 10, and neither player is going to get rolled that easily. 55 villagers killed from ACCM. Tato had the position. He has the options, but does he have the momentum anymore? He does dive here underneath 2 towers. These are not guard towers. These only have fletching. It won't do that much, those 2 towers, but it is something. Tato's population is dropped. Tato's TC is going down. What is happening here? It is just full Light Cav spam from ACCM. He'll go for Tigui now, so his TCs will fire arrows, even if it's not Garrison, which is kind of nice. And honestly, TC Fire, Tower Fire, plus some Light Cav here will deal with this. Tato's army will go down. Tato is down to 110 pop. I know there's a possibility for ACCM, but this was not expected based on how the game played out. It was the raid down here that caught Tato off guard, combined with the raid in his eco, and ever since, Tato has not been able to focus on the front of his base, and ACCM's got a massive lead. Oh my goodness. What in the world? He's killed 91 villagers from Tato, and it was like even with like 5 or 10 apiece a couple minutes ago. I said you need to commit to one unit. He committed to one unit there. Oh god, Tato needs to creatively save his bomber cannon here. I don't think ACCM even knows about that. But ACCM is going to use this time to run over here and drop a castle. Now that castle is going to be near this golden stone. Keep in mind, he does still have this gold down here. Keep in mind, though, he is up against cheap units with the Byzantines. I actually think Gabetto is the most important unit for ACCM now. Because Tato he can't go for as many things as he could if he had 130 villagers still. Oh my god, ACCM's in again! ACCM is in again! The nightmare for Tato continues here. Oh god, I mean, it was so bad. You could tell he even noticed in the final moments as well and tried to get a quick wall down. And Tato calls the GG. Tato knows he will lose his base here just as the Gabettos were advancing forward to kill the Arbs. And ACCM still had gold. ACCM would have access to more golden stone still, and ACCM had 70 on food. What a comeback from ACCM. I have to say, completely unexpected. Tato did everything he needed in this game, except for maybe get his army count together. I mean, seriously. Like, you know, I'm obviously not going to speak to Tato about it right now. Maybe that's a discussion that can be had on later days. But yeah, I feel like Tato will consider this a throw from him. Like, he would probably consider that because of how hard he had to work. Like, right here, Tato has the same amount of villagers. 4 relics, obviously. He's got the castle here. He's got the TC here. And he's got 51 army. 51 army for Tato. You know, a lot of that army was here, which felt really strong because you just assumed he wouldn't take damage elsewhere. But he wasn't able to notice this big raid. At some point, it was this in combination, and I think this next part's the most important part, with losing this castle. ACCM snipe on this Treb. And also the fact that it's so good, guys. He brought his Trebs to the hill instead of just having them beneath his castle, so he was able to do a little bit more damage. The raid, the sniping of the Treb, and then winning this castle war here was huge. And maybe for Tato, it was too late to stone because he was in the Imperial Age faster. Maybe that this never should have been an area he lost. It's hard to say. Maybe you don't try and raid with this army. But I could see how Tato in the moment felt as though this army was going to apply pressure to ACCM and he could easily control the other areas. Yeah, ACCM went full Legend of Corner Boy there. Seriously. Like, he was stuck in the corner. He was almost out of trees. 27,500 food collected there from ACCM. And say what you want about the Halbs, the camels, and whatever else from the Byzantines. But it is the cheap, or sorry, not the cheap, but the very strong Cav with that +7 attack there that made the difference for ACCM. Disgusting comeback. And hopefully one that doesn't affect Tato mentally going into the future games. All right, so ACCM wins the first game, came back from the dead, and he correctly realized I need to raid, and win that Trebor, and he got the job done. That was crazy, guys. Ridiculous stuff. I thought he was so dead. I'm like talking Byzantines and OP, blah, blah, blah. And people got angry at me. But here we are, game 2. Tato needs a recovery. And he is going to go for the same strategy that Doubt did to him in that epic series they played in the round of 12. Now, the difference here is that Tato is Japanese. But the thought process is, due to the fact you start with houses on this map, you don't need wood for a lot. Instead of going for the early dock, which I'm sure we'll see ACCM do, he is going to go for the early barracks and make a militia or two. So this is, I brought it up when I was casting with Nilly in that series. This is something that Tato actually started in a team game tourney. I think Viper's doing a watch along on my stream right now. Viper, do you remember the tourney? It was, It might not have been Coast to Mountain, in all honesty, because I don't know if it was a team game. But it was like 2017. I think it was back when it was before Gamer Legion. It was before Secret. It was still Viper, Tato, Doubt, and it was, I think, Tyrant. Would have been maybe 2016, 2017. Anyways, I don't remember the map exactly, but I remember that Tato did it with Persians. It was on Step. Thank you. Thank you, Snake. But yeah, I'm somewhere on par with the year. We're all very old here, but it was like a grand final strategy, and it just completely shocked the opposition. Now, Goths have slightly cheaper infantry, so that would have helped it outdo this. And Goths have the hunt that lasts longer, which is kind of nice. But I think what is tricky is getting the wood eco after the fact. And that's something that Doubt struggled with. So having a cheap lumber camp on the back of this is super nice. Like Tato right now already has the wood to go drop a lumber camp if he wants to. The ACCM noticed this because the ostrich are just disappearing. I don't know if he saw the militia, but when you start to see the ostrich disappear, you should know. I think the loom is being researched because of that. And yeah, I think then he can move out to the wood, which is actually what Tato had done when Doubt did this to him. Now, of course, ACCM has 2 fishing ships, which is obviously great. Tato's militia, though, just killing a lot of hunt. And it's going to be awkward for ACCM to have the food eco then. This is the first pick for ACCM and the second pick for Tato. They really value these civilizations highly on this map. But yeah, I think the fact that ACCM is able to get the wood right now is nice. He can always make more fishing ships. And I think ACCM came prepared. I would be shocked if ACCM didn't watch through the games from Tato and Doubt. Well, actually, I take that back. There's no way ACCM watched every second of every game. I know he's dedicated, but the hideout game was like 2 hours. I'm pretty sure as a player, past a certain point, you're just like, okay, this is what my opponent did. This is what he faced. I have the information now. I don't need to see all the tiny little details. The Tato is the lumber camp. Tato now goes for the mill on hunt. And Tato will know that there's a dock for ACCM. Like, that's the problem, I guess, with ACCM's style, is that happens every single time. So Tato doesn't even need to scout it. Tato will know. That is the build that you do if you're not doing what Tato's doing. So, what Doubt did against Tato, and it worked wonderfully, was in Feudal Age, he went over, he docked, and then he killed the fish. And then, of course, shifted into land. And I think Tato should do the same. Because the advantage for Tato is on land right now, because he has taken out a lot of the hunt. I mean, he's taken out tons of hunt. It almost feels like more than Doubt ever did against him. Look at that. Like, you just see little ostrich wings all over the grounds. It's going to be kind of awkward to kill a villager if ACCM's paying attention, but could still happen if Tato blocks with the camel as well. Yeah, how do you play this? Like, your instinct is to go to land right now if you're ACCM and deal with the militia, because it could always lead to more. But if you do that, you could lose on water. It's super risky, but I almost wonder if it's the smart play. And maybe it's because this is still so new that we're not going to see it yet. But like, what? Viper's watching, right? Viper's going to use this. If this were to happen to someone like Viper, I wonder if Viper would just go double dock on water and be like, this is a bluff. You're not going to do anything more against me on land. I know you're going to kill my fish. And then he goes double dock to like maybe defend the fish. But then it's weird because then you're investing into saving your fishing ships. And you're not actually killing. Like, if both players are already with fish, it feels better because you're investing with potential to damage your opponent as well. The strategy's really good. I don't know. It's really tricky stuff. Well, little quick walls here from ACCM, trying anyways. The militia will attack faster in 30 seconds. And Tato has been annoying with that camel scout. And actually, there's some hill bonuses involved here. ACCM walls this, but it's still open over here. And then the militia are still in, so... Of course, Tato has the barracks from before, so he can easily open with an archer range if he wants. He opens with the fire galley. Great stuff from ACCM to see the dock. God, these guys are so good. I say this with respect to, like, Andy and Barros, of course. But, like, you know, compared to the first quarterfinals, this is already so much closer. And it really feels like either of these two players could win this season. If they could beat each other, they could beat anyone. The next quarterfinal is going to be Hera Leary, which is going to be ridiculous as well. And Double Dock from ACCM. I like that adaptation there. And I think as long as he's got the first 3 to 4 fire galleys out, he should be okay to defend, and then he will need to focus on land. Now, I think where it gets tricky then is, like, Tato is able to go around and take Hunt everywhere. So Hunt, like, he's got this food, so you don't have that now. If you're ACCM, here on the shoreline, what is Tato going to do with these militia? He's going to bring his militia in to try and kill the Vil. He actually repositioned his fire to go in and snipe the Vil. What a ridiculous play. God, that's so risky. Like, the militia could so easily die to the fires. They were already kind of weak. And then you could easily lose your fire and then easily not kill the Vil there as well. That was sick from Tato. And he assesses that it's 2 docks from ACCM, so he says, okay, I'll go 2 docks as well. I mean, this alone prevents ACCM from being able to go land that easily. And he now knows that ACCM doesn't... Oh, God, he's got to save this. Tato, he's got to save this. 2 HP. Pathing, 2 HP. 2 HP, repairs. Tato, what's happening? No repairs? Huh? A little surprised by that. Yeah, like... We know, of course, that ACCM can't take as much Hunt as Tato has. Tato just going to maybe give up on water here in some weird way. Wasn't expecting that. But res collected, I've been wanting to check for a while. ACCM's collected more, but he hasn't collected as much food. ACCM does have the range, though. You think Tato was baiting for a demo? I think there, Tato realized he was going to get outproduced on water. That's what it was. He is going to demo, but he didn't have anything else in queue because he was using the wood for other things. I think that's most likely the situation there. Love how active both players have been with their Camel Scout. They're always looking for something. Tato, this Camel Scout scouted the range. We've seen players been late on that timing all season. Here, ACCM looking around to see what Tato's doing. And I'm sure we're like 20 seconds away from him seeing the archer range as well. He sees the new lumber camp, and he'll probably check the front. Malay advance faster to the next stage. There's going to be fishing ships for ACCM. If he can completely wins water as the Malay, he will be able to fish trap. And Malay fish traps last a very long time. Right now, it looks like Tato is going to lose water. On land, ACCM is moving forward. Tato doesn't have any army or a lot of army on land to defend. And ACCM sees the exposed villagers and is getting fletching. ACCM, in a very different way than the previous game, obviously, because this is a very different map, has again weathered the storm. And he just refuses to die. It's been great strategy from Tato again. But he's up against a guy who's got good adaptations. And just does not hesitate with a counterattack or two. And awkward times for Tato. ACCM will find another villager kill here, maybe. Tato's going to try and distract. He actually blocked his own villager. 2 villagers down for ACCM. Or for Tato, rather. And again, Tato does not have what it takes to win water now. I think he sent a demo out. A demo hasn't killed any fishing ships from what I can see, which is maybe what Tato would have wanted there. So farming eco going to begin. We've still got what's left of the hunt for ACCM. Tato's going to lose his militia here if he's not careful. Looks like the militia will go down. That is very easy there to just patrol in and attack the Camel Scout. Not speaking from experience at all. Tato's ships have gone down. It's been all ACCM the last few moments. Tato will have the food to click up to Castle Age, though, and he does do so. So it's sloppy, it's messy, but if you're Japanese and have cheap lumber camps, and you have your own range units and you get your walls down, you're probably okay if you're Tato for a bit. And Tato cannot demo the fish anymore. ACCM can freely add more fish. Now, as I've stressed, coast to mountain, the fish is kind of far away. But I think the fish is so much more important when you're melee here because you can fish trap. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Tato, if he can find damage on land at some point in the future, it would not surprise me to see him send units to the docks to try and kill fish traps. I actually think it's a bit of an underrated play. Yeah, this is just fire galleys from ACCM, and he's scouting this area with a sheep, and then also with his camel scout. Again, it's been so active. Tato, though, tracking ACCM's army here. Nicely done, as ACCM will hope to wall this. He's not full walled yet. He's got a gap here, and he's got a gap here. And Tato being castelled before him, so there's definitely slight potential there for Tato. My concern for Tato is food eco. Like, his food eco is abysmal. He's got 7 on food. And he hasn't transitioned into many farms yet. I'm sure he'll be doing it behind us as we speak, but it's still not great. And ACCM's micro is so good. And the only issue for him is there's a hole in this wall. And I think he sees Tato's archers. And he may delete this palisade to run through. Tato almost feels like maybe I shouldn't dive there. Now, ACCM would love to engage against this right now because Tato just hit Castle Age and will be getting upgrades. That's exactly what he gets. Huge, huge moment for ACCM. This is going to be tough for Tato, guys. The comeback from ACCM in the previous game was incredible. Like, I think Tato had the better positioning. I think he had the better civ. He had the better options teched into. The melee, if you think about how they play out with eco and archers very frequently, I think they're better than the Japanese in what they do, right? Better versions of, well, I guess it's not better versions of infantry. That would be the tricky thing. The samurai would have something to say about that. But it's hard to get to infantry right away, right? So like ranged units and eco and fish, I guess they're both really good at it, but at least with how this is played out, it's way better for the melee. Now, if we see cav archers from the Japanese, the strength of the cav archer is pretty strong, but that takes time and resources to mass. So Tato, he's going to have the cav archers, but he has to avoid the cross moments. I love the decision to go Siege Workshop. And essentially, these numbers matter so much for him. He cannot lose these numbers. And oh, what is this from Tato? Sneaky move. And he will find some villager kills here with 3 archers. Not something you really expect. It's like right when you think someone's out of options, then they're always going to show you something at this level. And oh god, ACCM is through. What a move. What a move. He dove underneath the TC. He kills the cav archers, and he's staying in the minimum range of the Scorpion, so the Scorpion can't hit his crossbowman. And Tato doesn't have an army here then, basically. He's got to make another Scorpion. Wow, so both players being incredibly annoying and getting a lot of value from very low numbers of units. But, the crossbowman will eventually be dealt with here, I think, because there's a new Scorpion now. But well played from both players there to find some villager kills, and both players trade some army away for it. And now ACCM will drop TC number 3. But that did delay TC number 3 compared to Tato's 3rd TC. So that's a positive. I still want to check food collected. It's got to be horrible for Tato here. Oh, God, that's so bad. Actually, the same amount of gold for a second. 2010. What the? You see that? Whoa, that's super close. Whoa! Holy crap, I don't want to look away. How much do they have on gold? Well, they have different amounts on gold, so that will probably change. But after everything that's transpired, to see the gold be that close is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. And this TC, of course, protects extra gold. I mean, even the eco upgrades looking a lot better for ACCM at the moment. And the fact he's on stone tells me that he's thinking either about defensive castle or a forward castle if he's able to take the fights. You would obviously not want to walk out across the map with a castle if you do not win the fights. Does ACCM not see this? That would be pretty crazy to me. He sees the cav archers running that way. He has no clue. That is weird because that is clearly visible to him. Huh? Tato doesn't see it. Is this a capture age bug? Hello? I don't fully understand. Scorpions get some pretty nice hits here, but ACCM will take out one of the Scorpions. Tato runs right past the hole. but he wants to save his Scorpion. Neither player, maybe it's like a bro code or something, right? Like maybe these guys are so good that they're like, hey, if I have a hole in my wall, you don't go through it, okay? And Tato's like, okay, that's fine. And ACCM would maybe return the favor is weird. Weird. I mean, also, let's be honest. Running in with 2 CA, you're probably not going to accomplish that much. You get trapped. That's probably the bigger reason that Tato didn't go through, but I've got to make something of it. Couple outposts from ACCM here, guys. Let's not forget, ACCM, he lost 3-2 in the quarterfinals to Leary in the previous season. He was my favorite to win that whole season up until that series. It was a heartbreak of a series for ACCM because he was so close. Had leads in some of those games versus Leary, and then Leary ended up bringing it back. Leary, obviously, an amazing talent. But ACCM has... I forget what he did in the first season. If someone could remind me, that'd be amazing. But in the second season, he won his group. This season, he won his group. He just is so consistent and so good. And so well prepared. So well adapted. Tato not out of the game yet, though. Tato defended nicely there. Big attack round from ACCM there on the hill. And Tato's universities. That's a lot of wood that he'll want to spend on things. He just has those buildings there buying some time for him. Definitely feels like we're building up towards Imperial Age with the Malay. And ACCM's building outposts here on the hill. Now he's going to run through here. And he also has crossbows out here. He runs into a Mangonel shot there from Tato. But the ideal scenario for ACCM would be a castle right here. It would, of course, be less than ideal if he were to lose all of his army. But, God, it's become so awkward for Tato to engage against now. Because you have to engage up the hill. Oh! No, you don't! Oh, ACCM a little distracted, I think, guys, because of the siege in the middle and maybe some of the other things. And now, good luck leaving. Oh, good micro, though. Oh, my God. How did he get in so close? Uh-oh. There's going to be repairs. Oh, and Tato's going to get the kills. Big moment for Tato here. This could have been a lot worse. And the castle for ACCM would have been in his face if ACCM took a better fight. But instead, he has to go for a very passive one villager castle there. He's sending more vills now. In the middle now as well, Tato still has the siege, so he's done a good job there. Tato also has 2 relics. And he's at 4 TCs. So if he could stabilize this and hold against the faster Imperial Age from ACCM, he could be okay. Really felt like there, ACCM, he probably would have had a much better fight here if he wasn't getting hit by Tato in the middle. Also, crossbowman getting through somehow. What? ACCM's been so good today, guys. So is Tato, obviously. Tato will lose a monk there, but does get a crossbow conversion. He'll get another conversion as well, so that's actually really nice. Castle goes up for ACCM. ACCM will click up to Imp and be there in a minute. And also adding a 4th TC. And now this is just like straight Arbalest spam. And like, it's going to be hard, a little awkward to afford Arbalest, but he should get there with Bracer and with Chemistry. And I'm worried for Tato. I do not know what Tato does. Even the Siege will not work against Arbalest. Even crossbows with Bracer, with ACCM's micro, you just don't have a chance. And Tato hasn't even clicked Imp yet. Tato has 200 food. Tato is behind by 5k resources collected here. 5,000. This eco's crazy. And obviously really important that this has ended up being the case here for ACCM because this is his very first Civ pick. Couple Karambit Warriors come out of that castle that Tato didn't know was there. Boom, Mango down. Here in the middle, Crossbowman moving forward. They probably should not stack like that if there's going to be siege out there. I'd like to see ACCM focus his attention here with that next castle. A castle right here would be so good. Even an outpost villager now to just see it would be amazing. And Tato says, I can't even bring it back. I can't even fight this one off. ACCM up 2-0. And how big is that comeback from ACCM in the first game right now? The fact that Tato had a 40 or 50 population lead, maybe had a lead with army and everything in game number 1, and then lost, hurt so badly now that that strategy didn't pan out. Insane play from ACCM. He needs 1 win from the next 3 games, and he will go to the semifinals. Just dominated Tato in that game. My goodness. And there were so many positives, right? There were so many things to say that was good for Tato there. But in all honesty, I think the big thing for ACCM is he did not panic when the hunt started to go down, and he did not lose his fish. He won the water, he used the water, and he transitioned really nicely into the land aggression and then into the food economy. He had farms before Tato. He had fish before Tato. He had some army forward before Tato as well. So that was just near perfection from ACCM. And Tato's going to have to bring near perfection to now win 3 games in a row against the guy. And so what did I say? Game number 1, Tato faced more adversity. Tato faced this. Tato faced that. Well, ACCM was his group winner for a reason, guys. All right, so honestly, guys, if Tato wins this game, I actually think the reverse sweep is more realistic than some people might think based on the civilizations. Aztecs, of course, a ridiculous civ, and I think ACCM's one of the best players with Aztecs in our game. But as we have a pause here, Incas can be a fairly solid counter to them, and then some of the other remaining civilizations for ACCM will be a bit awkward. You'll have Cumans, Koreans, and Gurjaras, which are civs that can be strong and have their matchups, but there's obviously going to be some awkwardness at times, at least from what I'm seeing. Now, the task for Tato is, he is going to have to play on a lot of maps ACCM is also very comfortable with here. I think was this a Tato home map pick? Can I just look real quick? No, it was not. Okay, so Tato is actually going for one of ACCM's maps. That's what I thought. Okay. But you have to play them all now. I think Tato also played Golden Pit quite a bit in the group stage. It's not like Tato's not going to like this map. But Tato hoping to lame a bit and encounters the TC from ACCM and runs directly into it. That hurts. Well done from ACCM. He hopped out with 1 Vil, so the cow couldn't be stolen. And ACCM is actually not looking to lame here at all. And he's just going to push in his deer. We did make a change to the Golden Pit script, though, where the boars are never on the front, because players can spawn really close together, and it would lead to laming being way too OP at times. So we actually have not seen many boar steals on this map. What's weird, though, is this is a bit of an off-kilter generation. Typically, you're going to see... Let's say if there's ACCM here, Tato would be here. That's a more traditional spawn. And so actually with this spawn, a boar spawning on the side, which is what happened here for ACCM, that's actually pretty accessible for Tato, right? Whereas obviously if Tato's over here, he's to loop around. But you're counting on an awful lot as you do with laming, right? You don't know where your opponent is, and you're taking a risk, so... So normally with Aztecs, it's monks and it's eagles, and good luck, right? Monks, eagles, pikemen then, if there's going to be knights. There's not going to be knights from either player, so no horses will be killed in this game, which is, I guess, good for the horses. I feel like Incas can do really well against the eagles, right? They can make their own eagles themselves, which is great for offensive power. And then they can mix in the slinger out of their archer range. And the slinger is an anti-infantry unit. And so it's like this rock, paper, scissors thing. Then it's like Aztecs go for more eagles. Aztecs go for skirmishers, which can be really good. But then the Incas can go for more eagles. Both civs have fairly decent monks. I mean, what ACCM has always loved to do, and I feel like he has not shifted away from this much, and I know he's going to now because he has 3 on wood, but I'm just going to say it anyways. The thing that ACCM likes to do is he loves this man-at-arms with Aztecs. And we have people going for fast feudal age builds and no man-at-arms a lot these days. But this dude just smothers you with control with man-at-arm builds. And I wonder, if not that, I still do feel like maybe going eagle, archer, eagle, skirm gives the Aztecs a lead in the feudal age. But, someone just got here and they're like, am I crazy? I thought these players were close. What's the situation here? And the situation is Tato's played amazing, but ACCM has as well. And it really is just that game number 1 from Tato. Feel like he did everything right to be able to get the win, and then ACCM pulled out a ridiculous comeback with raiding. 2 militia from Tato coming in very early. Eagle's not here, though. You normally want the Eagle as a part of that. Whoops. I wonder if he doesn't have the Eagle as a part of it because the Eagle was weak from early on. I don't know, but, like, this might not accomplish as much without the Eagle. We'll see. If the Eagle was here, a villager could potentially die for ACCM. But this is a bit of a 2 militia rush here from Tato, just to take some early control. And it is giving him time to wall up at home. Actually, I think this is paying off already. Look at the idle time. Tato, if he just continues to do this, you'll see a back and forth enough times where ACCM will then eventually think, okay, you're not really going to attack me. I know what you're doing. And then right when ACCM thinks you're not going to attack me, Tato will actually attack. It's going to happen, right? Tato's just waiting. Maybe Tato respects ACCM's defense too much. And Tato's on the way to Feudal Age behind it. Very smooth build. Very, very smooth. I like it. Goes in for the fight. ACCM fights it back. Wow, impressive. He pulled all the vills over to this tree, so it's like 5v3. And then again, the Eagle is weak. So Tato running into the TC earlier has an effect here. You could see the moving time for these villagers, though. And that villager is moved too far away. And so, yeah, this just forces a bit of idle time. In the past, though, it was like forcing the idle time was enough. These days, it definitely feels like you want kills with any early attacks like that. Kind of funny how that works. But, like, I'm talking in the past, like 2016, 2017. We're also on, like, way more lag. And, you know, it was... Walls were faster, too, so you could be fully walled at home behind this. Walls were also cheaper. A lot has changed. So anyways, opening here for ACCM is Eagles. Didn't go to gold, though, so you can't make more Eagles. It's actually pretty notable. Huh. Interesting. I'm sure he will go to gold. I'm sure that wasn't necessarily part of his plan, because he sent 5 to gold. I mean, Tato's engaging against Eagles. He loses his Eagle, which he could have lost anyways, and then kills another Eagle. I don't think that's bad for Tato at all. It'll be 2 Eagles, 1 skirm on the field for ACCM, as ACCM will also wall. Economically, the 2 lumber camp approach for both is going to be pretty healthy for their eco. Tato going for wood and farm upgrade. ACCM hasn't gotten any of that. And res collected. Tato ahead. And the big reason, because you might look at that and think there wasn't that much idle time for ACCM. How does that make sense? The reason is because Tato had more vills, right? Because when you click up the Feudal Age early, you're working with less villagers as you're on your way. So delaying the Feudal Age means you have an extra like 3 or 4 villagers working. Obviously, it ends up evening out to be the same. Because this game is just amazing and in how it plays out. But Tato able to afford a little bit more. Also, Tato did not invest into the range as early in combination with that, right? So, yeah, Tato's just doing the same thing. He's going to go Eagles. He's going to go Skirms. And we'll see how it pans out. I expect this to go to Castle Age, though. I'd be shocked if a lot of damage happens. But Tato might get housed here because of some pressure, which getting pop-locked with the Incas is just... you need to be a special player to get pop-locked with the Incas here, Tato. You get 10 population per house. Like, this is... He really doesn't have many houses, so maybe he's gotten too used to it. Please make a house. And here I thought only MBL was someone who could get housed with the Incas. Tato's going to get really badly pop-locked here. Okay, he noticed at least right before, but he noticed because his Eagle couldn't create. And now his Vills can't create for a bit. I mean, at least he gets the house up. It does slightly affect his numbers a little bit. I don't understand why Vills are stronger than military units, though. Makes no sense. Well, you have to research Loom, which is 50 gold, and it's just militia, right? And also, anyone who... Like, if you think about it, it is so much easier to control military than villagers. Villagers do not auto-fight back. Woo, 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 by the way. ACCM will garrison here and shoot the wolf down. So we're heading to Castle Age, where Tata will probably be fairly happy because he gets access to the Slinger, and this is becoming an Eagle War. I'm not sure what to suggest to ACCM right now. Maybe you still go Eagles, and you go Siege Workshop, and go for, like, Scorpions? Whoa, Tata with crazy market usage here. Not all that uncommon in a Meso War, though. He might have done it early just to affect the prices. He really wants to have that faster uptime. A little surprised ACCM hasn't done the same, in all honesty. I think this is a good start for Tato. Res collected. Tato's collected more resources. Now that is the market, actually. That shows some of that. I really wish that if the market was used, it wouldn't affect the resources collected like it does. Like, basically, to explain it, on the left, you can see resources being sold. So you're minus 100 stone to get 91 gold, right? But the game doesn't subtract the stone. It only adds the gold. So it adds everything from the market, but it doesn't take away. So it doesn't truly show how the market has affected the game. So when I'm casting and I see someone using the market a lot, it's going to influence this a bit. I have spoken to them about it before. I don't think they have... I don't know if they're going to change it. But at least us knowing is, of course, important, right? I can explain that. So, like, watch a game with the Saracens, and none of that's going to make sense. It's been a great series. I want more games, guys. Like, I want to at least get to, like, the 4th game, but... You know, that might be harsh of me, and maybe should just root for the winner in each game. I mean, I am kind of doing that at the same time, so... No, there's nothing wrong with saying that. We want more games from this series. There's nothing wrong with that statement. Triple barracks for Tato, so he has not shied away from Eagles, something he could have done. But I like it, is you still make your own Eagles, but then you just mix in some Slingers with it. And how are the Aztecs supposed to counter you then? Because, like, if you stopped Eagles and just went full Slinger, then the Eagles are mobile and run around the map, and you can't really kill villagers with Slingers. But if you have a similar number of Eagles, plus a couple Slingers, you're always going to win the fight. And more barracks here for ACCM, and maybe a direct reaction after seeing Tato's uptime of 19 minutes. Sheesh! Incas are picked a lot more than they were in the past with tournaments. They've received quite a few buffs. Their Dark Age is really clean. Their Feudal Age, Castle Age, Imperial Age, everything's great. And they've always had options. But now that any unit that costs food is discounted as well, feels like that's when people instantly were like, oh yeah, we're picking Incas all the time here. There's still a hole here. Okay, now there's not. Tato just lost an Eagle there. ACCM's dropped quite a few houses. Okay, guys, if a Slinger dies... I did make a video about this. It's the most satisfying death animation, so you could see others. But when a Slinger dies, he kind of, like, turns around and falls in his face in a very theatrical way. So I assume we might see a Slinger die. Just keep an eye out for it. It'll make your day. ACCM's fine. He's only lost one unit in this game. It's just a question of, can he deal with the Slingers? He's got 14 Eagles. Tato has 15 Eagles. He's going to add a monastery. And maybe that's where the Aztecs can shine, is mixing in a few monks. You just never really want to have monks out there when there's Eagles, though. Good hits there from Tato. Monk, if it was out already, would probably have converted the Slinger. ACCM sees this. More house swung from ACCM. Slingers are great against infantry. They're garbage against everything else. So that Slinger there is not going to do too much to the Bills. ACCM trying to find the Slingers. Here we go. Ready? 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 Watch him die. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. It's going to be amazing. Okay, well, I got to slow-mo it to really get the full effect, but they always turn around and fall face down looking the other way. Oh, God, big fight here as well. Big fight here. ACCM says, screw your Slingers. I'll just take the engagement anyways. And I'm not sure that was worth it. He lost a lot of Eagles there. And Slingers aren't that expensive. Tato now has 15 Eagles. I think that's an amazing moment there for Tato. Sorry about the weird coverage and showing the fights. I was got a little too silly there, but I think we did see a lot more blue go down there than red. And if that is his plan to deal with slingers, just diving in with eagles to kill them, I don't think that's going to work that frequently. You have limited gold on this map too, right? So you need to have more gold to make eagles, because eagles and monks are expensive. Like, he has been on both of his golds. He will run out. Tato could run out as well, though. And Tato, no second TC or anything in the middle just yet. But, again, think of the civs that Tato has available. He's got Magyars. He's got Franks. Unfortunately, I do not remember some of the other civs he has. I will have to think more about it. But I know that, like, ACCM's got Gurjaras, Koreans, just civs that you don't really see played all that much, and civs that he'll like, and civs that I think can be strong. But just saying, the comeback could be on. I can see it happening. Like, Tato has not played bad in these games. He could have, maybe should have won the first game. The second game, I think his strategy maybe let him down. Maybe it was too predictable. I think, honestly, ACCM just played like a god, and that's what would make the reverse sweep so improbable, is ACCM is playing so good. So, Tato going to Stonewall up. Both players needing defenses now, because it is a base race at the moment, as the Eagles try and break through to get damage. I love the Stonewall idea. Great play from ACCM, though, to do the same and drop some houses. Also able to get conversions from the other side with that monk. Every little bit is helpful here. He converts an eagle. The monks will back away. Tato ting-ting-tinging. Tato's going to get through. Tato is through. There's not an army here anymore, and Tato could kill so many villagers with this. Man, those eagles broke through that house so quickly. Did Tato research arson, maybe? I might have missed it. It would make sense that arson was in because he destroyed the buildings, the houses so quickly. Now, if ACCM could somehow clear this up without taking heavy losses, maybe he could then have the larger army, but he doesn't have slingers. And Tato killed a bunch of the monks there from ACCM. And like we said, monks like might feel natural for the Aztecs. Not really a natural thing to go for against the eagles. Oh, this is so good from Tato. He's like, you want to kill my eagles? Enjoy getting slung from the other side. That's so good. That was really nice play. And ACCM has to lead all his houses. He has to take the fight now. He will get some kills here. But really messy stuff for his eco, as things have not gone according to plan. Behind all this, Tato with more slingers, more eagles coming in, and a TC going up in the middle stone and gold area. Only 2 villagers killed there, but the efficiency is much better for Tato behind this. Tato just has to be careful not to overextend with his slingers here. What do I say when someone has been killed by slingers? What's the term? I don't think we can even say they've been slung, because that's a team game term for age. They've been slinged? Tato slingeth? Thus, ACCM has been slung. No, can't say it. I don't know. Slonged. Stoned. Stoned. But depending on the player I'm casting, if I say someone is stoned, you might not know that I'm talking about the slingers. Maybe not necessarily with the very top players, but you go into some players, the top 100, you start saying they're stoned, you might take it seriously. You see me play on a certain day, and you might have some questions. Okay, Slade. I like it. Well, I mean, Tato's in an amazing position. As long as he holds the middle, he's in an amazing position. And ACCM knows it's not good for him. Of course it's not good for him. How could it be good for him? He's been slunged. He's been stoned. So he's going to walk to the middle and blindly just drop a risky castle. But that castle's actually going to go up. Tato doesn't see it. No outposting from Tato. Should we have seen outposts from Tato? I think the answer is yes, but it's an easy thing to say now. Tato might feel like, just like before, like I've done everything right. I've kind of got the lead here. I've got the better civ. I've got the better army comp. I've got the TC in the middle. Now we castle the middle ourselves, and now there's a castle from ACCM. And that castle is just so good. Now all these villagers can take gold. And then your main eco is actually safe. And the main eco for ACCM is actually really, really good. If you look res collected, it's not that different. It's just been the gold. Tato will drop a castle here. But Tato can't drop a castle anywhere that disrupts the gold like ACCM's castle has just done to him. Well, I guess you could drop the castle here, I guess. But then you don't protect your own gold. That castle's so sick. My goodness. And it's just a risk, right? When you know you're behind, sometimes you want to play safe because you're worried you're just going to get smashed next. But ACCM knew that if he didn't do something more, that he would just die. It's a good idea. Maybe Tato could build up towards a castle here. I actually wouldn't mind that because he's got the army, right? That would make a lot of sense. Castles are a bit cheaper with your civ as well. Tato will lose that TC. We've got some Jags in the army now for ACCM. And ACCM needs to use his Mangonel and his monks versus slingers. Nothing else. Uh-oh. Jaguar warrior could be converted. Doesn't get converted. And Jags are actually going to start to get picked off by Tato's castle. Tato's getting ballistics. And Andean Sling. Guys, can someone remind me what they changed with Andean Sling? Because I remember it was on my list of most useless unique techs. And they changed it. Is it minimum? It was minimum range, no minimum range for the slingers and the skirms, right? I don't know if they changed anything with it. Mangonel goes down. Well played from Tato. Should be a really good fight with these upgrades in these units. The slingers get +1 attack now as well. What? They gave them extra attack? Slingers are already insane. Well, that is wild. I did not know that they did that. I knew they changed it, but I didn't know. Wow. I mean, I guess the +1 attack really helps in situations where they're up against units they're not normally good at against, but they're already ridiculous against infantry. And you just can't fight this army right now. If you're ACCM, that's kind of the sad thing. This army's too strong. Tato, you've got to make it happen, bro. Do you castle the middle golds or do you castle the hill? I like this. Big shot. Tato has to be careful with his castle spot. Actually, because of the Mangonel, he's debating on where he places it right now. He's got to place it further back. Oh, I don't like that castle as much. Guys, ACCM is up. He's up to imp somehow. Oh, God. The Mangonel is moved out. The slingers are in... Oh, God. The Castle Foundation actually blocks this off. Makes it really awkward for Tato to engage. Castle's been getting kills on Jags, though, because of Ballistics and Bodkin. Tato chose to spend a lot of food and gold on more slingers, on Andean Sling, and then also on Bodkin Arrow. But it's going to pay off here, at least for now. And now he deletes his castle. Now he's going to place the original castle. Okay. Kind of wasting some time here, Tato. Still wondering what ACCM's unit's going to be. I mean, he's going imp so he can go trebs, basically. He's getting massacred everywhere else. This is his way back, though. If he has any chance to come back, it is through trebuchets from both of his castles. Oh, man, if this castle even goes up. If Tato had the eagles and the cameos here, it might be denied. I don't think Tato realizes he's through here. Tato definitely does now because he's going to go for the Mangonel. And then here, you've got the Jags helping out against the eagles and even cameos, but... there's just not enough there. Castle will go up for ACCM. He has access to gold. So does Tato, obviously. And Tato will lose both of his castles, potentially. But, like, think about it. It's 93 villagers for ACCM. So as long as he takes out the castles from Tato, Tato's going to be reeling from this. Tato's going to have to, like, spend so much time trying to figure out what to make. And if ACCM can figure out skirmisher switch, then Tato would want to go Eagles, but you can't go Eagles long term if the castles are up for ACCM to make Jags. I could easily see ACCM winning this game. What a sick job from ACCM to stay alive in this. How is he still alive? His macro has been insane. His Vil count and obviously this castle and everything is just so good. I think Tato might consider diving to take a treb or two, but it feels like this is a pretty squishy army to try that with. ACCM refuses to die. He is such a fighter. It's funny that, like, when ACCM is completely dead, people always question why he plays on for so long. This guy's fighting mentality brings him so much in Age of Empires. That castle going to be awkward, obviously. Tato finally finding some damage he'll be happy about. And Tato will lose this castle in the middle. Now he's still mining gold. He's still making slingers. Here, he's trying to deny the castle. I mean, slingers have the extra attack now. I mean, ACCM. Oh, my God. Oh, God. I mean, mangonels are going in. Tato's going to try and kill the mangonels with the eagles and Kameyuk. Slingers have to move. Castle's on the way up. Castle will go up. Castle will go up. Tato could lose a bunch of units here. But he also killed a bunch of villagers. He's killed 50 villagers. But now that castle's down. Now this castle's down. Now he has to make another castle. Now he's 30 seconds away from him. And now, where do you damage the eco from ACCM? Where do you go? Problem for ACCM, of course, is like, he pretty much went imp to make villagers and make traps. That's it. He does not have an army. So he cannot actually fully take Tato off of gold. Unless he, like... I guess you can treb down the mining camps. Which sounds silly, but it's actually, I think, really good. Just treb down the mining camps there. Slingers are over here for Tato. Not the most valuable place for them to be. Jags are finding some villagers here. Tato getting Bracer. Tato getting Chemistry. Great upgrades. He will only have one castle to make trebs. This is really tricky because you can't go in against 5 trebuchets with like 2 or 3 trebs. You need more than that. Here, Tato's killing more villagers with the slingers. ACCM will be dropping ranges to go for skirms, but his food and wood eco is struggling. The balance is struggling. Here's the res collected. It shouldn't be that close. ACCM is just a god. Tato's still ahead, though. You need to wait for 4 or 5 trebs if you're in Tato's position. And yeah, his mining camps are getting trebs. Excuse me, trebs down. Trebs v mining camps. This is pretty funny, but it's actually a really important play. I love it. And honestly, Tato might just feel like it's just a mining camp and keep making more. But it's not like he's floating that much wood right now. ACCM just lost himself the game with that With that what? With the castles in the middle, with the gold control, with the skirm switch, with the trebs on the mining camps. I mean, ACCM's in a great spot. So is Tato, though. This game is insane. Guys, like game number 2. ACCM big lead. Finishes off his opponent. Uses the control. Gets the job done. Tato GG's. Game number 1. ACCM behind in a lot of aspects of the game. Fights on. Finds a way. This game here. Tato ahead in lots of aspects of the game. ACCM finding a way. Like, it's amazing to see ACCM's fight. And Aztec skirmishers, pretty strong. You've got, like, the Aladal upgrade, which could be really good. Tato's out of gold now. What is Tato supposed to make? I think I might prefer ACCM's position right now. Now, it's going to be horrible timing, I'm sure. As ACCM's going to try and treb uphill, which seems like a disastrous decision here. But somehow gets away with his treb. Tato goes in with villagers over here. Tato has to be careful. ACCM has decided to bring the trebs over here now, too. Skirm's still missing upgrades. But what is Tato making? He's making skirms. Aztec skirms are very strong. I'm not sure, like, on one hand, I like it to try and keep Tato out in the middle to try and push here. I'm not sure I like giving Tato treb momentum. I almost feel like keeping your trebs in the middle and waiting for Tato to push you would have maybe been the better play if you're ACCM. You're not on the clock right now because you have access to gold and Tato does not. That's the way I see it. Trebs will go down here for ACCM, but Tato has to use his trebs against these trebs. Tato's repairing like crazy, and he took out 2 trebs. ACCM doesn't have a large army. And I think ACCM could lose these trebuchets. He knows it now. He regrets it. He's backing up. Tato misses the trebs. So still 3 trebuchets there for ACCM. The food and wood situation is brutal right now for ACCM. It's much better for Tato. Much healthier. And now, I think, like, that's the moment you get excited if you're Tato to treb back. Because your opponent doesn't have as many trebs to treb your trebs. Lots of trebs. Tato does have 3 relics, which is certainly helping him here. And he has a similar amount of skirms. He actually has better blacksmith upgrades and better university upgrades as well with the skirms. Tato can push this. ACCM will need to repair. He hasn't been mining stone with his middle control. So he doesn't actually have a lot of stone. And this could be awkward. This could be Tato's moment back. Honestly, a moment where Tato could even pull Vills and start mining gold too. But I'm sure the second he takes up this castle, he is going to do that. Tato's eco is winning him this game. The 70 villagers he killed at his opponent's base has paid off so much here. So he could survive this period of time without gold. Tato even going to mix in some eagles now, which does make sense when the opponent doesn't have many jags. And chemistry not being in for ACCM definitely was a big deal here. But it was just, he kind of sacrificed so much control to get to imp into trebs, and then he's struggled to get more out here. All of his trebs go down. Tato in the middle. Tato not dead yet. ACCM not breaking through over here. And now it's going to be his turn without gold again. Dang, man. It's so tricky, and it's really hard to explain unless you've really been there. It's so tricky when you get up to imp faster like that, and you're behind in Vills to know what to do. Because it's like, on one hand, you feel like you need to push with your treb advantage. But on the other hand, you could just hold. But then if you just hold, then you don't like attack the opponent. The opponent's not going to make mistakes. And the opponent's going to use their better eco to get more upgrades, to get more production buildings. So I think for ACCM, he really felt like it would be better for him to pressure simultaneous to holding to the gold. And Tato was really patient. A lot more patient than a lot of players would be there. But now that Tato has gold, now that he has the skirm, the slinger, the eagle as well, Tato should win this game. He's got the relics, of course. And of course, it's ACCM. He's up 2-0. He feels super dead. He's like 5k score behind. Is he going to resign? No, why should he resign? He's got 100 pop. Do you know how many times he's brought games back when he was 100 pop, people? Well, actually not that many times. But, you know, in his mind, he always believes. I think ACCM and Yo, they fight on from dead positions more than any other pro. But they also have, like, brought games back more than a lot of pros as well. So, certainly, like, the fighting spirit is a part of it for them. But I think Tato just needs the Elite Eagle upgrade to come in here and swoop in and take out the skirms. And then it's a better situation for him. And he's just waiting for a few eagles now. What a game. What a fun game. Like, ACCM should have been super dead the second Tato had the TC in the middle and was destroying everything with slingers. The fact that this game came on this long is just a testament to ACCM's ability to bring games back. And GG's called, I think he saw the Elite Eagle upgrade, and yeah, he's like, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to tap out. And Tato, staying alive here, okay? Every game's been really solid from Tato. It's not like he was rolled the first 2 games. And I'm telling you, with the way the draft looks, and the way I see Tato's strategy playing out, I really do see Tato potentially bring this to a 5th game. 59 resources collected there, or 59k resources collected there from Tato. Honestly, really tough Civ matchup. Incas are not only a solid counter Civ to Aztecs, but I think Incas are arguably just as good as Aztecs against some other Civs if ACCM would have picked them. 245 kills for Tato, 158 deaths. Did collect more of every single resource like we said. And we move on in this series. Ladies and gents, game number 4, it's El Dorado. Now, this is one of Tato's home maps. This would have been ACCM's choice. So clearly, is anything a home map with these two? I don't think so. ACCM has gone for the Koreans. And I don't think we've ever seen Koreans played on this map. I'm wondering if ACCM wants to play turtle ships on water and then towers with Koreans in the middle. There's a lot of stone and gold in the middle. Also, the stone's a little bit closer to him on his side, which could be helpful. Just always kind of how this map generates. It is a bit random towards the mid. What's not random, though, 2 tiles of gold, 2 tiles of stone at each player's base. Lots of fish on the outside and lots of food to start with, too. You have the deer, you have the turkeys, you have the boar, and then you have 3 fish that have 350 food underneath your TC. You can go a long time without building a farm on this map. But both civs actually... Both civs have huge incentive to take gold or stone. Koreans mine stone faster and would make the towers. And then the eagles and the archers all cost gold for Tato. Really interesting picks. Like, Mayans, kind of the old thought process with them, and this was like maybe 2016, 2017, was you take the gold early and just spend the gold constantly, and the more you hold the gold, the more you invest into the middle, the better it is. But that I'm remembering from a lot of versions that didn't have the water on the outside. Also, a cool thing about Mayans here is you start with the extra vill, so that's always good. And your resources last longer, too, so like you're going to get tons of food from this. But yeah, you just can't forget the fishing aspect. The fishing aspect has been the most important thing. But even still, like, Koreans is kind of weird because I think fish and light cap is the best way the players will play this. Like Japanese, Malians, the multi-dock approach, win the water or contest for water while going for light cap. And Korean light cap is not good. So both kind of non-traditional picks. We saw Mayans played on this one time and they lost. It was Leary against Viper. And Leary tried to do what I said. He tried to like go archers, tried to go eagles, and then didn't prioritize water much. So I don't know. It's a unique one. And I don't think you can question the players too heavily, though, because of where they drafted this. This is a best of 5 now. And we have more bans. We have 3 bans per player before the draft, and then you have to pick so many civs for different maps. So it is expected we're going to have some off-the-wall picks. Or not off-the-wall, but like, you know, just some picks that are a little bit uncommon. Koreans actually have a 100% win rate in TTL, I think. Someone could maybe double-check that for me. It's funny. I think they were played 3 times. Now, this would include gold this season. I'm not including silver. I looked at the data. It was just gold and platinum. And I think... No, maybe it was just played 1 time. I just remember Dragonstar going Cav Archers with Koreans on Spiral. Yeah, look at Felix. Felix knows. You're amazing. Yeah, exactly. It was the Korean Cav Archer play from my boy Dragonstar. Which I called 2 minutes in as well. I was like, we're going to see Korean Cav Archers. And then it happened. And then it was glorious. But it's just they haven't been played a lot. So to look at their win rate and really think that they're necessarily the best is a bit tricky. I do think they're underrated, though. And against Mayans, if the Mayans are going to go archers, getting the free armor on your ranged units is good for the skirms. Tato has found the gold for ACCM. That is a rough spot for the gold. Tato's spot is a bit nicer behind a woodline, but the stone's worse. So, potato, potato, potato. Walls in front there is going to be good for Tato. 2 fishing ships for Tato and early barracks. Okay, so this is definitely heavy land play. Double lumber camp here for ACCM. Indicates to me that we are going to see a second dock at some point. But he'll see the barracks from Tato and has to respect that. Now, that's early. That's a militia barracks. Tato actually sending the 2 villagers to the middle. Now, the middle is always visible, so ACCM will see that. Now, this is interesting, because Doubt against Tato tried to go to the middle early when he was expecting to be towered. Well, what is this? Surely Tato knows he can't just walk through the middle and sneak something to ACCM's base without ACCM seeing it. What? Does he want a forward range? I think he wants to just pressure this gold. I'm still very confused by it, though. Oh, he's going to wall it in. That's actually really strong. And ACCM can't send villagers because he sees militia. That is actually really, really good. And, like, no one's done this. Up until now, right? Like, this has not been something someone has done. And ACCM sees the palisade walls. And he's over here. Whoa, barracks and range. Oh, man. If you want this game to be messy, have Tata build a forward archery range on this hill right now. Both players have made a fire galley, but ACCM cannot take gold. So he can't make more than one fire galley. I mean, unless he comes to the middle to take gold, which he could. And it looks like he's going to. 2 militia for Tato, looking for damage. The 2 villagers for Tato, looking for maybe a dock. The eagle for Tato, just scouting the wood line. Here come the villagers. And yeah, I mean, it's like, well, screw it. I guess I'm going to the middle now. Wasn't my original plan, but here we are. And now Tato's in the middle as well. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is going to get fun. This is going to get messy. And Tato didn't see the trash units here. ACCM built this tower on Tato's wood line. And Tato's probably going to tower the middle. Tato kills the villager. It's nice to have extra military units. ACCM doesn't have the units here. Tower goes up, though. If he garrisons, Tato might not notice this because Tato's focused on the Vil War. Excuse me. Tato doesn't seem to have reacted here. That could hurt him. He needs wood as well for the forward dock he's trying to go for. Tato reacts and has to place a new lumber camp. Okay. And then here... This is so messy. Oh my god. Like, the Eagle's the most important unit for Tato right now. Because the Eagle can help so much against the skirms. He is making another one. Tato's had the better of the engagement so far. Both players with tons of idle time here. This might be a full feudal here. For both. Like, yeah, ACCM can't take his gold right now. But Tato's going to run out of his gold eventually. Unless, of course, he wins the middle right now and can mine it, but... I mean, advantage Tato, right? Tato's able to make more navy, which I think is the key. And he's looping around now with his fires to maybe go kill the fish. He hasn't gone for a forward dock yet, but funnily enough, ACCM wants another dock there of his own, and he'll see that. The Vil War continues, and Tato's been wrecking now. 6-1 Eco KD for Tato. It's not getting any better for ACCM, who's just stuck on skirms. Oh, God, and the pathing, too. Units regroup sometimes for whatever reason, and that... Oh, God, this has not gotten better for ACCM. I think we're heading for a 5th game. Tato even going for man-at-arms now. I think ACCM could be taking his gold back. Like, he could be attacking the palisades and getting the gold. But the bigger issue for him is going to be, can he fish? Tato killed ACCM's fire galley there. All of ACCM's fishing ships will go down. Tato now with the tower in the middle. So, messy game. We question the Koreans' pick a little bit. Definitely felt like the Koreans' pick was a little out of place based on what we've seen before. Feel like you have to play it a certain way, which would have been at least mining lots of stone. And up until now, we haven't really seen that. Stone mining's happening now for ACCM, though. He actually is just fleeing with his fishing ships, but he can't make navy. And Tato is simply stuck on man-at-arms and eagles, which isn't too bad against the skirmishers. In fact, it's perfect against the skirmishers. This is dream scenario. Only thing I'll say for Tato that he could be doing right now is he could be fish booming behind all this. That would be the key. Yeah, he's chasing the fishing ships away. Nice find. Like, you now are uncontested on water. You can get an even bigger lead if you fish behind this. What a weird... Like, was this the game plan from ACCM? Maybe he wasn't expecting Mayans? He certainly wasn't expecting the wall here. Again, it's just a palisade wall. Like, you could break that down. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. Tower. That's a lot of skirms, by the way. That is a whole bunch of skirms. Okay, so I just had a flashback from El Dorado from a long time ago. There's been a lot of flashbacks today. But this one's involving Viper. who no doubt is watching this, Viper went full skirms on this map against a player who then ran out of gold. It was against Eagle Civ, but the Eagle player couldn't make gold anymore. I was in, I think, like Hidden Cup 1. When the players didn't have hero names, their name was just Hidden Cup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is... I didn't realize how hard that was going to be to cast until it happened. And then we were like, oh, we've got to change that for the next one. And we eventually did. Tato wants to click up to Castle Age. ACCM's got a whole bunch of skirms. And the Man-at-Arms and the Eagles might not actually do this here. Here comes ACCM to the middle. I mean, this guy knows when he's down bad, right? We saw it in the previous game. He knows when he's got to YOLO it. Tato, quick wall! Okay, quick wall. All right, Skirms getting hit by the tower. Man-at-Arms getting hit by the tower. Villagers getting hit by the tower. Bad for ACCM. Bad for ACCM, I think. Maybe? I mean, Tato still can't take gold in the middle. ACCM's food eco is going to be abysmal, though. He doesn't have any fishing chips. Again, I think like that's the key for Tato. It's just fish. Fish, 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 fish. Yeah, he's going to fish. And ACCM wants to trap the villagers with a gate. Tato comes in with more eagles, but he will lose the middle. Huh. If Tato wasn't Mayans, he could just go light cap with the better food eco. This is interesting. This is really interesting. The skirms are actually doing a decent enough job against the eagles because there's so many of them. Huh. Tato will click up soon. ACCM's nowhere near. If ACCM can continue to pressure Tato while stabilizing, maybe there's a chance here. You could drop more towers, right? Now, it's funny. He wants to tower the wood line. Tato's been off that wood line for a minute. If anything, maybe towering the stone would be good. Tato has to pull villagers. Now, Tato's eagles that he does have, they will be stronger upon reaching Castle Age with 7 attack. It feels like Tato's got enough. Tower's obviously annoying. But Tato's food economy is so good here. He's actually been placing mills on the fish here, which is a really fast way to get food income. I like that. And is adding more fish as well. Tato should actually conserve his stone for a castle in the middle. I think that's the play. And just use the eagles to protect the villagers. Yeah, I don't know if getting armor is actually that helpful against skirms. But maybe the first armor upgrade wouldn't hurt. I feel like the first one should have come in. Maybe Tato thought he had it. Guys, we're going to have a game 5 in this series. It's going to game 5. And I think, like... I think ACCM almost knew it. He didn't want this to be his 5th game. I think Gurjara's on Lance Madness is better than Koreans here. And so he kind of waited with it. Because remember, this was the home map for Tato. So he decided after a loss to play this. I think he thought it through. Dang, man. Like this from Tato. Might lose a vill or two. But needs to just pull off the stone and then walk away. Right when this tower goes up. He should be fine. Loses a villager, though, to skirmishers and an archer or two. ACCM with 37 food when Tato reaches Castle Age. Rip. Oh, and lost villagers here. Sorry, I'd missed that. Tato looped around. Explains why he wasn't reacting and lost villagers there on his stone. And he's now got enough stone to build that castle. He'll have Eagle Warrior. He is selling some stuff to get more gold. But he knows where all the gold is. And he's got the 6 fishing ships behind this. Risk collected. Way more resources for Tato. Nice little pickoffs here from ACCM. 10 eagles on the field, though, for Tato. Some of those eagles will dive into ACCM's woodline while simultaneously going after this ranged army. And now here comes Tato for the castle. Tato, you've got to place it somewhere near the middle. It's kind of awkward to find the spot because of where ACCM's placed the towers. But this might be enough for ACCM to tap out anyways. Even without a castle, Tato might win this game. ACCM doesn't see it. I think Tato wants the castle over here almost. You're probably only going to get one castle, right? So you need to make sure it counts. ACCM still has no clue. He has no clue his woodline's getting massacred. He's hoping to have enough ranged units to kill this. And he must know that Tato's going to be going for a castle. There's Tato diving underneath 2 towers. But he's diving underneath 2 towers with Eagle Warrior. And he deletes his foundation. He puts it 1 tile closer. Here we go. This is it. There's no way this gets denied. And there's no way ACCM can survive. 21 eco for ACCM, the fighter he is. This is going to take us to the 5th game. What in the world, man? And for the 2nd consecutive series here in TTL playoffs, at least for the series that includes Tato, we are going to a 5th game. Very different way of getting here. Very different path in that series against Doubt, though, which was back and forth. Tato was so close to winning the 1st game, and many people thought he threw it, then got massacred in game 2. We talked about the recovery from ACCM in some of the games today. Sick overall recovery here from Tato in this series to stick with it, stick to his game, to not be affected mentally at all after staring at the 2 wins from ACCM. Sick play from Tato. And honestly, at the same time, I think ACCM was confused. This did not look like ACCM knew really what to do. He didn't go to gold at the proper time to compete for water, which is really common. Like, I feel like even if you're a scout civilization, players are going to gold. They can go on water, and the wall up maybe shouldn't have happened. The skirmisher play against the Eagle player was a bit weird. Like, it was just a weird game. There's no way to really say it. It just clearly wasn't a great strategy, and I think Korean's also not anywhere near my top 7, my top 8 picks for the map either. So, things to question there for ACCM, but things that he should all forget about and save for later, because Game 5 will be Lands Madness, ACCM's home map. I'm thinking it's going to be Gurjaras for him there. All right, so as expected, we have the Franks versus Gurjara matchup. I'm a little surprised, actually, because Tato also had the Magyars. But, guys, the point is, it's like, I looked at Game 2 and said, these are the civilizations remaining. I think it's possible for Tato, and we're here. And Tato had 2 great choices. He had the Franks or the Magyars. Both civilizations we've seen do super well. And Frank's more of that eco option. So you have the berries. There's double berries on this map. So you have that combined with the berries underneath the TC. That helps the Franks. But then the free farm upgrades, the extra HP on the scouts, all feels super strong. Now, ACCM's pick is a pick that I recall seeing a Land Madness in this tournament and other tournaments. It's not that common anymore, though. The reason you see players pick it is because of the good economy with the sheep inside of the mill, the fast up times, and they've got a solid scout rush, but mainly it's because in Castle Age, they've got such a good position with those camels. Those camels do additional bonus damage, so they're really good against knights, which is what a lot of players go for. So players are like, oh, this is a map where players go scouts and knights. That's great. I'm going to go for the only civilization that can start making camels in feudal. We probably won't see that, but still. Has a good scout rush, then has camels in feudal. And how is the knight civ supposed to beat me? And that's why I'm surprised Tato went for Franks, because Franks are like super knight oriented. Obviously, they'll probably go pikemen as well. But I thought Tato might want Magyars, because Magyars actually have really solid cav archers. I suppose cav archers can struggle against camels and Shravamshas, though. That's the thing, is that then you forget about the Shravamsha rider. The Shravamsha is a really speedy unit and good against range units, and we did see the Shravamsha against Magadai the other day in the Barles Veleza series. So, like, anything you make out of your stable is good against other units on a horse, basically. That's the idea behind picking Gurjaras. It is definitely a bit of a counter pick. And then the thing I'll say, the weakness of the Gurjaras is that if it's up against pikes, they need Chakram. Like, they could maybe go for some ranged units out of their archer range, but it's not a civilization that's really good at doing so in the long run. So if this goes late and Tato has Halb, you would need your unique unit if you're ACCM, which would mean a lot of castles and a lot of production. I think there is where the struggle is. You can use your mobility against the Chakrams. You can... Yeah, I mean, you just can't fall into that spot here if you're ACCM, I think. We'll see how things play out here. I expect both players to just push in deer all the way up to feudal age. There's like very little incentive to go scout because you think everyone else is going scouts. Having said that, though, 5 on wood for ACCM. I mean, he can do it because his food eco is pretty decent, but it almost feels like he wants to consider an early-ish barracks here. 5 on wood is really uncommon. Going to 6 now. Feels like he wants to go, like, militia into archer or something. And I don't mind switching it up, honestly. I think the Gurjaras could always just go scouts after a couple archers as well. So you still want to get into stable units, but this could surprise Tato. I don't know. It's still super weird. Is he going to go build the barracks on the hill and then take the gold? What's the idea here, ACCM? No barracks yet? I'm a little confused. We'll see. Definitely not militia if the barracks isn't up yet, though. So it's going to be archer build. Res collected so far? You guys curious? Gurjara's ahead. That's pretty good stuff, right? Gurjara's ahead. Same uptime. Plus this camel scout will win any 1v1 against this scout. Archer opening, not something you see every day here. ACCM changing up the meta. He's lost 2 straight games. But he had Gurjara's picked late. Feels like maybe this could work. Now, if you start to make the archers, that might force Tato into skirms. Frank's skirmishers are pretty poor. And then it gives you an early answer to the spearmen we talked about, right? So it starts momentum flowing away from spearman play from Tato. If Tato makes skirms here, then we'll just see the scout switch for ACCM. As long as the food eco's there. Camel scouts. Oh, wait. No way he goes camel scouts. No, it takes too long to produce. I want to get excited about that idea. There's no way, right? Oh, yeah, sorry. I think it takes 60 seconds to produce a camel scout. You are right, though, that camel scouts are an option in feudal with Gurjaras. It just takes too long to produce, and they're still countered by spears. Tato's scout. Just passing, sees the range, sees the gold. So, okay. That's like the perfect scouting. Obviously, he was probably going to find it eventually. And behind this, Tato going for a stable. Yeah, I think it's also too expensive to make a camel scout right away. I agree. All right, so walling up the berries, walling up the wood line, knowing that the strong Frank scouts will move out. We'll see if Tato chooses to add a range at all, because if archers were to sit here, could be awkward for him. Intense stuff here, guys. Great series. So happy this turned into more games, right? Because, like, Game 1 was a ridiculous comeback from ACCM, but at the same time, I was just kind of thinking, oh no, Tato needed that one. Have any chance he needed that one. But I think the overall preparation from Tato and having civs that, at least for me, made a little bit more sense has worked out for him. Oh, that could have been a scout kill right there. Tato got away with one. ACCM just a little distracted, but he does see the range is coming up for Tato. He's moving forward with 2 archers, 2 spearmen. So this is where there's going to be a point when the skirms start to come out. There will be a point where Tato considers a trap there, maybe. You need to make sure the food eco is actually good enough to justify the scout switch. And I'm not sure Tato, ACCM's in that spot. He actually went really heavy on golds here. And now he stopped making archers, so that's a bit weird to me. And Tato has the skirms coming out. But the camel scout could still pressure the skirms. And then the archers can pressure the spears. Tato's still hoping for damage. ACCM's made that very difficult. ACCM dives for a villager kill here against Tato. Maybe feeling like the skirm number will rise. And this will get worse for him there. And he gets the kill he wants. He's also didn't go for the spears there with the archers. The archers are kind of blocked off a bit. But still should be able to kill 2 spears. Here, Tato's just attacking the house. ACCM's fine here. His camel scout got wrecked, though. I didn't realize that. And actually doesn't kill the spearman anyways. Tato's fine. I take it back. Feels like those 2 spearmen could have died in that scenario. Losing 1 vill to still have really good army is something Tato will be okay with. Those spearmen, if they were gone, like Tato would never be able to move forward with those skirmishers. Because he's expecting ACCM to go scouts, and ACCM's going to do that now. But this, also the archers weren't killed, right? So it's like both players kind of had an opportunity to get damage. You thought ACCM would, and then you thought Tato would. I think that Tiger wants that weak archer right now. Uh-oh. ACCM does not care about the Tiger. Here are the scouts. ACCM may need to leave here. Tato sees this, reacts to this. Well played from Tato. Again, if the Camel Scout was stronger, that's more of a threat. And ACCM dropping a tower on his gold. He is massing scouts here, but Tato still got the Spearman, which is so important. And ACCM kind of tried to change the meta here a little bit. And Tato has him under some pressure. There's a quick wall needed here. Okay, there's a palisade down. It should be okay. And tower will go up. Villager dies. Scouts are out now for ACCM. Close game still. Really close game. So, I want to check res collected again. Still higher for ACCM, but that's because he's been mining gold. Food count's still really even. Both players on both their berry bushes. Army comp, I prefer Scout Archer, but Tato has the control right now. So he can add more army, and he's also safe at home with spears. Where it gets awkward is like, do you bring more spearmen forward? You probably don't. You want these spearmen to be able to get a lot of value. As I say that, he loses one. And yeah, now Tato might need to consider backing away entirely here in a moment. Spearman for ACCM didn't actually accomplish much. Camel Scout in queue, guys. I like it. That's really smart. So now he's gone Camel Scout. But Tato, of course, on spears. So it's really tricky. Close game. Tato backs away. Nice patience. Tato getting the forging upgrade. We have a pause. So Tato's skirms are actually fully upgraded. He's coming forward with more spears with the skirms. And, I mean, this could really go either way. I think having more units here, having more potential with it, with the skirm, spear, scout, that makes Feudal Wars a bit easier. But there's a long-term aspect of this, of like, what army is actually the most realistic in the long run? And heavy skirm play isn't realistic in the long run for Franks. So I guess it comes down to how much value do your skirmishers get. And that's some value right there. That is not a fight ACCM can take. All right, we had a pause there. Tato was lagging, wants to make sure things are as smooth as possible, obviously. ACCM thinking about the Castle Age. He stopped spending food. He will drop a market here. And it's a little risky here, right? But he does have the tower. The wood's kind of protected. Tato's going to come in. Tato doesn't know about the market, but Tato will feel like things are awfully quiet here right now. Interesting decision. I think it's a little too fast for me. I think like you need to get to the next stage with good eco. And so to rely on the market is a bit of a risky thing to do here. But if you do market and eco, should be fine. And he's just buying some food. Tato's done a great job this game. 6 kills, 2 deaths. Tato has won 2 straight games after losing the first 2. Reverse sweep on the cards here for Tato as ACCM shows up to Tato's base. Now, Tato's got a lot of stuff forward here. But you see just how many spearmen are here. See, ACCM has to use the small number of archers to kill all the spearmen to get value. And then here he has to use the small numbers military to defend and get value. And it is becoming very difficult for him to do that because Tato just has so many more units and more upgrades for that matter. Great job in defense from Tato. Still not done though. ACCM takes the fight. I don't know if this is a good fight. I mean, maybe that's okay. I mean, he kind of wins it. I don't know how much he can really kill with it. And then here, still constant pressure from Tato. Remember, you can make the camels in feudal. They will upgrade to regular camel riders when you make it to castle. We are 90 seconds away from that. Tato doesn't have that many spears on the map now, so the camels could clear all of this in a moment. ACCM just needs to repair. He cannot let these units in, and he has to keep his eco as efficient as possible. Tato and ACCM, both with some idle time here periodically. That's expected in a Lands Madness game, especially like this. This is actually more micro-intensive than a Scout War. Scout War, you're just patrolling. Tato's killed 2 villagers here with these skirms. Scout from ACCM went down. Archer here attacking a spearman. And where do the camels go first for ACCM? He's going to defend himself, right? Because there's a hole in his wood line. He didn't know about the hole. He did not know about the hole. The scouts have armor and the scouts have forging. He's going forward into Tato's base, though. Tato has a hole. Tato has a hole. Tato has a hole. There's a hole. Oh, my God. There's a whole lot of stuff happening, and we have a pause. Oh, God. I really hope there didn't lag there. I hope that there was no lag or issues, because this is such a critical moment. Like, Tato is diving, but he will lose his army. If ACCM is through here, it's the same amount of damage. And then Tato's still 40 seconds off from the next age. Yes. This is lagging all the time. Sorry, Ghost is Tato. But, like, thankfully for him, he could realize there was a hole here. That actually saved some of his eco. That's a critical find for Tato. And ACCM just didn't notice it because of Tato's attacks here. So unfortunate, by the way, that there's some lag there because it's so hard to fight through that. But both players needing to fight through the pausing and the awkwardness. And this is the awkward stage of early Castle Age that ACCM wanted to bring to Tato. You are Franks. I've got camels now. What are you going to do about it? All the skirms go down for Tato. He's got a good eco, but he needs to find an answer to this. And the crossbows are just sitting there patiently, slowly trying to pick off vills. But Tato even microing those villagers. That's so good. Now look at this. The Shravamsha Rider's so speedy into the wood line there to kill some vills. Probably not microed by ACCM. Probably just clicked it there hoping for kills. Tato defends from that. 53 population for ACCM and 52 for Tato. This is a best of 5. This is the final game in this series. There is no chance to recover for you if this doesn't work. This would be the end of your season. And my goodness, dude. It's just like the game is so good. The game is so good. Insane play from both. ACCM swoops in with the Shravamshas, kills another Vill. And Tato's the one under pressure right now. It's so micro-intensive, man. Even the scout looping in there to be clicked onto the monk, like... The crossbows need to focus down the pikes, but they have to avoid the knights. And then the camels need to hit the knights, but then there's pikes. And then there's monks, and it's just so tricky. So... maybe a world where in a second or two, we see a second TC from ACCM. I could see him consider it. I don't think it's the play. I think more army is probably the safe play. But could see it happening. Tato just dropped the TC over here. Bodcanero, a big priority on the crossbowmen. And the crossbowmen are really important if the pikes and monks are out there. Tato's skirms will not be upgraded from here. I'd be shocked if he upgrades them. Tato actually trying to convert a crossbowman here and gets it. That's one way to use your monks. Tato doesn't have his knights at home. Maybe he felt like his knights aren't helpful here, but Tato's going to need gold here soon, guys. Converts another crossbowman. What in the world? Does lose the monk for it, though. Oh, actually, at the end of the day, there's not many crossbowmen left. The woodline's not exposed. ACCM will be disappointed to see that. And he must be wondering, where are Tato's knights right now? Tato's defense, just enough here. And there are his knights. Those are, for the most part, full HP knights, ready to kill villagers. If it was 10 crossbowmen for ACCM when he showed up, I think Tato could have never left. Camels for ACCM, maybe even some monks will be looking for this. Where's Tato going to go? So Tato hasn't gone for the obvious choice, guys. That's where ACCM's waiting. He's looping around the back. Does he check the gold? That would be so sick. Oh, he's going to where he knew ACCM was before, and that's the berries. Imagine if he went to that gold. And ACCM reacts instantly. Of course he does. But Tato gets a conversion. Of course he does. What a game. What a game. Tato's knights could get into the wood line. And he does. And he's on 3 town centers. Frank Eco. Farm upgrades have been free the whole game. Lots of momentum here for Tato. He's going to get a nice little villager lead. He gets into the gold as well. And ACCM couldn't quick wall the wood line. He couldn't quick wall the gold. And then here, Tato gets another conversion. And this is looking so good for Tato's reverse sweep now. He's still going to need to find a healthy answer to the camels because there's a lot of them. But, I mean, he does have pikes. And he does have monks. And he's on 3 town centers. Tato has a 16 villager lead now, and he's producing out of 3 TCs against 1. ACCM comes forward for more damage, and anytime he shows up, Tato is prepared. Man, that counterattack was so sick from Tato, though. Like, oftentimes you think, okay, he's probably all in. I'm going to keep all my army at home, just stabilize, protect here. The counterattack from Tato while also defending is so next level, dude. Or next lever, as we say in the T90 community, but that's enough to win the game right there. Like, look at this eco. You actually could get to a point where you can continue this cycle, and as again, we have another pause, but you can continue this cycle with pikemen and monk defense for a while. And like we said, how do Gurjaras counter pikes realistically in the long term? They would need to go to chakrams. Crossbowman's not it in the long run. They do not get arbalest. This is a camel. This is like a stable civilization. So Shravamsha and camel civilization. So this is bad. Like, the score doesn't say it's bad, but this is bad. This will be a massive eco lead. Tato says, I can't play like this. Can we restore? I mean, considering Tato's lagging like crazy, he's playing amazing. So they are going to stop from here. They're going to restore it and hope that that like kind of resets whatever lag they're experiencing here, guys. So just bear with me. But when this game ends, or when we break from this to go to the restore, Tato, I think, even though this doesn't reflect it just yet, has the much better economy. ACCM's been really heavy on gold in the market. Tato has like 20 or so farms and TC's in perfect positions. Okay, so obviously apologies for the bit of a speed up here. We had to restore it, okay? And what I said during the break was I think it as capture age just says player for ACCM. I think it's going to be really difficult for ACCM to find damage right now with how Tato's playing this. Now, if he's going to be able to advance forward with the camels, he would need to have that crossbowman number be higher. So that's an option. The other option would be to go for, late game things and stabilize. So getting relics, adding the second and the third TC can help keep him in this. He's got lots of mobility. Tato is a very defensive force. We will see if Classic Pro, what's wrong with me? If player or ACCM is going to be able to find some damage. And the Shravamsha Rider finds 2 Scorpion kills. Oh, and could find some Villager kills as well. But he says, give me the Scorpions, please. Just classic, right? It's like, Tato's got the eco lead. Tato has pikes. Pikemen counter Cav. Well, that's only if fights are taken against the pikemen. And the Cav player using the mobility here wonderfully. Well played, ACCM. Backs away from this fight. Backs away from this fight. And then backs away from this fight. But a 25 eco lead is considerable. But then again, it's like, can Tato ever counterattack again? Because what's he going to fight with? He's going to fight with pikes. Or knights. Looping in for any villager kill he can find. Boink! Nice play from Tato. Could probably get another pick. But sacrificing 3 knights to kill 1 villager is not great. And here come a couple crossbowmen here from ACCM. Oh my goodness. He is so far behind economically, guys. But the efficiency is going to be so good for him because he's all over Tato right now. And 3 TCs behind is not too bad. And Tato, he needs something more. And the answer is just more pikes. Honestly, more pikes. Maybe make a couple knights for the crossbows. A couple more monks. Hope for good fights. That's it. And then maybe even more TCs. Expanding away from where the pressure is coming in could be really nice. Oh, that's sick micro from Tato. He actually pulled that monk aside. Saves it. He was going to lose it to the crossbowman. And that was excellent defense from him as he forces ACCM away. There's going to be TC number 4. No, ACCM's army count kind of low. Because what is he focused on? He's focused on eco. He has to produce villagers now. Oh, Shravamsha's, no! Shravamsha's disaster for Tato! Ah! Just passing! Huge moment here for ACCM. It almost reminds me of the moment earlier where the woodline was overchopped. And Tato has just enough time to react, and the TC will actually go up. Whew. Dangerous moments there for Tato. Now that's ACCM looking for more damage all the time, though. Switching to the left, switching to the right. You react to me here. I will attack you there. I like the thought process. So, I think eventually you get a big enough boom, and your opponent doesn't have camels anymore, and then you just go into knights here for Tato. This castle's nice if he can get it up to secure more stone for then more castles. He has Franks after all, cheap castles. I wanted to show res collected. I guess this is accurate. Obviously, it doesn't show some of the other stuff because we restored this. It would make sense that's accurate. Tato's efficiency has been down compared to ACCM. I can actually put his name there. There we go, that's better. Where did Tato build a castle? He built a castle directly where ACCM targeted as the next area of focus. ACCM, though, with 40 on food, guys. 40. That's pretty ridiculous. He's not hunting either. That's just farms. Tato is 16 pikes. He's starting to make more knights now. Crossbowman number still has never really been in a considerable mass for ACCM, but he's been in a position where he has to use them all the time. And what a good game here. I mean, the series has been fantastic, but this game is also so good. And Tato's pikes advancing forward. That has to be a misclick. Fixes that. Maybe meant to click the knights forward. Makes more sense. 4 relics for ACCM behind this. How? How? And how is Tato defended from all this aggression as well? Sick stuff. Sick eco from Tato as Tato's going to take the fight. The crossbowmen have to click the pikes. There's not many crossbowmen. There's a lot of pikes. And it reminds me of Feudal Age where Tato just says, I'll simply make more than you. That's my plan. Forget your counter units. Forget your camels. I will just make more spearmen. And so he pushes back the whole army. And he still maintains an eco lead. And it is just that crossbowman number being so low that it's been such a problem for ACCM here. Another good fight for Tato. And oh man, this is finally it where it feels like has the eco officially kicked in for Tato. If there's ever a point where ACCM's not forcing reactions, there's going to be knights in every corner of his eco. And then he has to make more camels, and then he has to chase, and then Tato can push forward with castles and expand to different areas of the map. Like he's going to castle here. And ACCM is imping? What? Crazy. Crazy stuff. Big question for me is, does he make chakram? He's getting infantry armor, so I think he will make chakrams out of the castle. Tato is not clicked up, but Tato spent a lot of food on Vils, obviously. He spent a lot of food on pikes and a lot of food on knights. Oh, big find here for ACCM, but Tato, of course, had the army buy. Tato, beautiful reaction there. But I always feel like chakram's really awkward, right? Because it takes time to mass them, but he is massing them already. And Tato can't really use his army right now. Feels like Tato needs imp. And then Tato would want to go for trebs with these castles to take out this castle. Shatras coming in. A wonderful unique tech. One of the best ones in the game. All the food... all units that cost food in the game are now 25% off on food for the Gurjaras. And guys, I can see ACCM making this happen. I really can. Like, he's got some cool aspects of his play coming up. This Chakram sitting on the gold, sorry, Shravamsha. That's in a great position. These Shravamshas going to loop off to go raid the back of Tato's base. There's going to be so many avenues where Tato needs to defend, and Tato's trying to push forward. And, I mean, he then may do so, right? Because he has his army here. But, wow, this is going to be so fun to watch. I guess ACCM just likes to place units on the extra stones and golds that he sees. Again, there's not a large mass of chakrams now, right? I guess, like, losing a couple monks and losing a couple crossbowmen's not the biggest deal, but the chakrams you have to keep alive. There's ACCM and Imp. What's his Imp upgrade going to be? Heavy Camel. Takes some time. Takes a lot of time to research that, actually. Here comes Tato. Like, Tato basically is going to continue with the same thing. I will just simply make more knights and more pikes than you can deal with. That's the thought process. He's going to lose monks to this tower, which is really sloppy. But he just wants this castle up. Monks will go down. ACCM's camels will be strong, but they will be met by pikemen. And ACCM pulls away. ACCM has the Shrivamshas into Tato's eco. Finding some kills, but he's never really had enough to be able to stop that castle from going up. And the thing about Chakrams is the units just group horribly for ACCM. This is a game problem. I don't know 100%, but I can tell you, when you click back, the units go forward sometimes. And that's a horrible, horrible thing to happen for ACCM there. So I feel for the guy. But, like, you need elite Chakram. You need attack upgrades on Chakrams because it only does 3 attack. Like, this is still a Castle Age Chakram. It's not that impressive. And I like Tato's map control. Like, think about how difficult it's going to be for ACCM, because if he sits alone with the Trebuchet, Tato will engage against it. So he has to sit everything here. And if Tato sees that ACCM has everything here, Tato can send Cav to different areas. And you're seeing it there with the Knight on gold. I'm sure we'll see it elsewhere. Tato even just researching conscription right now. So he just wants the faster production of units. I'm really liking Tato's position. I think Gurjaras are so awkward in Land Madness game or any map where you need to have constant army all the time when your opponent goes Halb. Hand cannon's an option, though. He is adding ranges. I actually love this. Committing to Chakram long-term would be a mistake, and he knows it. He does not see this. Tato's got gold, stone. He's spread out all around the map. ACCM will expand. Sneaky TC here. ACCM won the first 2 games today. It was a crazy comeback in game 1. He had no business winning that game, and he brought it back. And then Tato, he had to win 2 straight to get here to the 5th game. And Tato is alive, and he is healthy with 200 population. He keeps his castle up. He snipes the Treb. And ACCM now shifting his focus to take this castle, because he's really in a bad spot as far as gold, guys. Like, this gold needs to be protected. This gold was very much needed. He's really stuck right now. And Tato knows it. So what can he do when he has a Civ that really shouldn't go for anything else? Paladin. You only have the only reason Tato could justify it is because of the lead in the position he has. It's such a good choice from him as he sees the castle. And it's probably not going to be denied, but he just kills like 10 villagers, 15 villagers in the blink of an eye there. Speaking of units going down in the blink of an eye, Chakrams and hand cannons. That is what Tato wanted to avoid for his Halbs. And now maybe, with this gold being claimed, with Heavy Camel doing all that extra bonus damage, hand cannon, Heavy Camel might be better than Paladin Halb. This is crazy, man. This is a crazy, crazy game. Not a good fight for ACCM. Horrible fight for ACCM. Late reaction. His numbers are still low compared to Tato's. Honestly, I think Tato just needs to like swing in with 5 Paladins to take Trebs and then wait for that big fight to finally start. Oh, God. Both players notice this, but Tato has the numbers. And now Paladin comes in. That's a great fight for Tato. Big boost with that Paladin upgrade. Only 4 camels for ACCM. He's been so far behind in eco, guys. He does have the villagers now, but... oh, he's getting raided on the left side as well. Tato has found him. And Tato will probably feel like if he can control the left and control the right, ACCM will just simply run out of gold. Now, you do not want to send Paladins in the back of your opponent's eco if you do not have long-term gold control. But Tato has the full map, right? So he could do this because he knows he's going to have more Paladins where he needs it. And he did snipe the Trebs there. Oh, my God. Tato's fully controlling the game. The castle ACCM's placed here is a castle you never want to place when you're behind. You want those castles to be forward. But Tato's forced that. Again, he's consistently denied gold on this left-hand side. That military is going to have to go somewhere. And Tato's now going to wait. And guys, I cannot bet against Tato from this position. I feel like I've seen it a million times. It's like, oh, that's great. Okay, so you defended from me here, and you're pushing with the Treb. I'll get your Treb. And I can't even say do not trickle Treb to ACCM, because he kind of needs something right away. You can't wait for 4 Trebs, because if you wait for 4 Trebs, you're dead somewhere. No gold for ACCM. No gold. He cannot mine gold. And there's castles everywhere for Tato. And Tato goes in with the Paladins. Now, did feel like maybe ACCM could have noticed this one a little bit earlier and had more units there. He is going to kill quite a few Paladins. But his eco is a wreck, guys. He has not been able to have the eco Tato has in this game. And it becomes so difficult from here. You head over here, and you get found by camels. And here Tato went in and killed another Treb. And what is Tato going to do with this position? He's going to wait. He's going to be patient. He's going to wait for the 4 Trebs, the killer blow amount of trebuchets. And then it'll take a massive fight, and he'll go for the most important castle in his mind, which I think is this one, because that just opens up the entirety of ACCM's eco. The counterplay to play into camels, it works well, but the Frankish eco, it is even stronger. Not the first time we've seen the Franks just say, yeah, screw it, I'm going Paladin. Good luck. Even against, like, good Halb or good Camel. It's just 192 HP and 18 attack. Paladin's insane. And it's Land Madness, so if you get the map control, which Tato does, because he has vision everywhere, you can make these things forever. Whereas if it's a normal map, you can't really justify doing that, right? Amazing mental fortitude from Tato to make it to this stage of this game. After everything that, you know, after the game, the first game where it looked like he was going to win and then he lost. You usually do not get opportunities to still win a series after what happened in game number 1. Like that, at this level, ACCM's comeback in that game, that's normally enough to make the difference between 2 elite players like this. But Tato's played amazing against Doubt in the round of 12. And he's played amazing all season here. And I looked at the civs and I saw the maps and I was like, I can't bet against it. So complex, everything that has to happen. Apparently Tato was lagging as well earlier. I mean, ACCM has one big fight left in him. He's at 200 pop. But it's at 157 vills. So it's 70 army for Tato. Look at the army value. 8,000 army value for Tato. That's an expensive army. That's a tanky army. And he's still got Paladins and Halbs in queue. Castle's gone down on the right side. Castle will go down on the left side. Tato is methodically picking ACCM apart. And ACCM does not want to take a bad fight, because he wants to get as high a military count as possible before he takes it, because he knows it's bad. But I just feel like anything you do here, Tato's going to have an answer to it. Look at those resources. I mean, even like the Onager upgrade for Tato might make sense against the hand cannons, but it's just so much easier to just produce more Paladins. Oh, God. Well, he's not going to have 200 pop anymore with losing villagers like this. And ACCM will have to decide on what to do with that main army. His relics are going to be gone. That was really the only positive left for him. The only way for him to get gold. ACCM is going to Vill fight the Trebs. I mean, he was going to lose the Vills anyways. They don't really have anywhere to go. Like, he's almost out of wood. Yeah, look where he's taking wood. Tato could have forced it, but he does respect that his opponent's army is strong, so he's not taking any risks here with this position. Poor ACCM is probably like, dude, just put me out of my misery here, because he might think back to the Koreans pick, he might think back to the draft, he might think back to something, I don't know. But guys, this would be the second straight season that ACCM will have been 3-2'd in the quarterfinals. It was against Leary last year. And I think he was winning that series as well. Evacuation for ACCM. That gold could be so important. Big fight here. Tato actually choosing to engage with the Paladins, with the Halbs. Tato will win this fight. He will win it. The camels will go down. The hand cannons will back up. The Trebs will move forward. Tato should notice this because he has vision here, and all those villagers will die, and ACCM now knows he's been noticed, and his pop is dropping, his villagers are running, his army's getting slaughtered, and Tato is just moments away from another 3-2 victory here in the playoffs, man. But in a much different series, like a very different series. He was down 2-0 in this one. Just crazy, man. He is such a good player. And it hurts to see ACCM, who is an elite player as well, just fight here, you know? Like, as I like to say, he's treading water, but he's still going to drown. I mean, this isn't even treading water. This is like one of your buddies that never learned how to swim treading water right here. And yeah, he goes down pretty quickly. And he says, GG, well played. Good luck next. Tato completes the reverse sweep here. 3 straight victories. And not only that, he probably could have taken game number 1. So many people get frustrated when they've done everything right, and then they throw a game, and it ruins their entire afternoon, their whole day, their whole tournament, their whole series. And Tato just kept going. He's just so consistent, such a good player. It's why he's one of the favorites. Tato will then move to the semifinal, where we will see Tato versus the Viper. And just remember that, guys. If Viper comes out swinging at the start, just remember that, all right? Because Tato had a brilliant comeback today. And honestly, for ACCM, it's really tricky, right? Because he played so well, but I personally have never liked the Gurjara's pick. I've always felt like it arrives to a point where you're on camels against pikes, and it is awkward to find an answer. We saw him try and find an answer with the crossbow play, and that felt like it was doing damage. But I just don't know what it is. Having seen it a couple times in previous tournaments and early round of gold, it always felt like it drops off occasionally, or eventually, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And like, as we see the resources collected there and the total KD and all these stats that are awesome for Tato, it really does come back to potentially lackluster Civ picks in the last 2 games. I don't think Aztecs is a bad pick for Golden Pit at all, but Koreans on El Dorado felt really weird to me. The Cumans pick from ACCM, look at the draft. Is it possible that he picked the Cumans just because Tato's really good at them and he wanted to take them away from Tato? I don't know. There's just a lot of things to discuss when a player loses. We also should mention that it was like kind of his weaker picks, whereas Tato, he was able to get wins with his weaker picks. That's how things went for Tato today. But Koreans and Gurjara stand out to me as like the big oof there. Potentially, maybe just mind games from Tato, because Tato did pick Magyars first, and that was not an option for ACCM there on Land Madness at all. So I don't know. You're splitting hairs when you're talking about this level, but congratulations, Tato, for getting the victory. Would normally interview him, but we are. Well, we didn't interview any other quarterfinal winners. We'll try and interview the finalists, of course, I think. But, we have another quarterfinal, and that quarterfinal is going to be a big one as well. So, updated bracket for those that are following things, and thanks to everyone that is. The updated bracket looks like this. I assume Liquipedia updated it. Liquipedia update, please. They did not update. But when they do update it, it will be Tato versus the Viper in a best-of-7 semi. And then the other one will be Yo against either Hera or Leary. We will know the answer to who that player will be in a couple hours.